Tonight, the 10-game homestand comes to a conclusion. The Rays taking on the Boston Red Sox in the third game of this series. They divided 4 with Toronto, swept San Diego, and tonight try to win the series from the Red Sox. A couple of hot hitters, James Loney leading the major leagues. Justin Pedroia red hot for the Red Sox. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to an evening of Rays baseball with Brian Anderson. I'm Dwayne Statz. Good to have you looking in. We'll hear from Todd Callis in just a moment. Well, Alex Cobb on the hill tonight. You know, he's coming off that big strikeout performance, BA, but you get the feeling he would trade a few more ground balls, a few fewer home runs, 5 in the last 2 games, and he would trade all of those strikeouts to avoid that.
I think you're right. And, you know, this is a game where you want a guy like Alex Cobb out there. After what happened last night, the bullpen being eaten up, this is a guy who can get deep for you. He didn't get last time, but it was almost like his changeup was too good. You know, he went 4 2/3 in that game, struck out 13, one of the strangest games you will ever see. But he absolutely is going to look for early contact tonight with these Boston hitters. He's got to keep the ball down in the zone, let that split change do its thing, the curveball, change eye levels, and just continue to work. He's got 4 starts against these guys. 183 opponents average. That's very good, even up on the record. But this is the guy, this situation, that's who you want out there.
And for Coventry Healthcare of Florida, the pitching matchup, Alex Cobb after victory number 5 tonight for the Rays, and this is 8th start. And the 25-year-old lefty Felix Doubront might be pitching for his spot in the rotation, maybe on this staff. He is 3-1 with a 6.40 earned run mark. David Price left the game in the 3rd inning. That caused some concern last night. Todd Callis will update on David Price when we return.
Tropicana Field, Luke Scott will bat number 2 in the lineup for the Rays against Felix Doubront. and the Boston Red Sox. For Tampa Bay last night, not only was it a loss, but unfortunately David Price would leave in the third inning, and today David Price would be placed on the 15-day disabled list. First time in his career he's ever spent any time on the DL. Price, as you can see this year with those 9 starts, not really the numbers he was expecting, 1-4 with a 5.24 ERA. Alex Torres has done a nice job at AAA Durham this year. 7 starts, a 2.39 ERA. We caught up with David Price today to talk about the injury.
Up under my arm, and it's a new territory for me. I've never really had any arm troubles. You know, I missed the start last year because of my shoulder, but that was all done in the weight room, and that went away. And you know, this is it's frustrating. It is. I think it's even more so frustrating because I'm throwing the ball as bad as I am. You know, and that's when you really want to get back out there and get things going in the positive direction whenever you're going bad. So you know, it's rough.
So Price obviously frustrated with the start to the season, and now on the DL for the first time. We'll miss 2, maybe 3 starts. We'll find out more as we move along. But we are 3 minutes and 34 seconds away from the first pitch tonight as the Rays go for a series win against the Red Sox. Enjoy all the action right around the corner.
Spectacular defense. Joyce back. He's to the track. It's going to be over his head, and he gathers it in front of the wall. And some Joe Madden-inspired clubhouse fun. Tonight, Tampa Bay looks for their 7th win of the homestand as right-hander Alex Cobb goes to the hill at the Trop. Welcome to the Trop. The Red Sox and the Rays conclude their business before the Rays hit the road for the next week. And we'd like to welcome Orestes Estrada to our coverage tonight. Just adjacent to the dugout and the camera well. Oh, good to see you down there. You look relaxed, comfortable, and ready to go.
I'm having a great time here. It's a big game, obviously. You know, trying to take this series here from Boston. We've been playing so great at home. Want to continue that and try to close this out with a 7-3 home record like the guy who's on the mound today. A lot of swings and misses.
There will be Alex Cobb on the hill, and he'll face this lineup. Jacoby Ellsbury leads it off for Boston. Shane Victorino and then Dustin Pedroia. David Ortiz in there as the DH in front of Mike Napoli. Daniel Nava gets a start in left. Stephen Drew at shortstop with Will Middlebrooks hitting 8th. And Jared Saltalamacchia, the catcher, will bat 9th.
He'll take in the mound tonight for the Tampa Bay Rays. Going to be right-hander Alex Cobb, making his 8th start of the season, 4-2 record, ERA of 3.09. Coming off one of the strangest starts that you've ever seen. He had absolutely dominant stuff, but just got pitch count out after 4 2/3 innings with 13 strikeouts. His split changeup was so very good that last start. You expect that to be a big pitch for him tonight against this powerful Boston lineup. Let's take a look at the defense as it lines up behind Alex. In the outfield, left to right, Rodriguez, Jennings, and Zobrist. Across the infield, third to first, Longoria, Escobar, Roberts, and Loney. Jose Lobaton will handle the catching duties tonight.
Joe Madden, a little concerned earlier this year about this club when they were a couple games under 500. His thoughts were they were fortunate to be where they were. He expects more from this team, and it'd be nice. I know Joe thinks it would be really nice if they could finish with a win here and go 7-3 on this homestand. He'll have to defeat John Farrell's Boston Red Sox to do it. Red Sox got off to a quick start, faltered a bit in the month of May, but they were sound winners last night over the Rays to even this series at a game apiece. And we're set to play ball with Jacoby Ellsbury, the center fielder, stepping in to lead off against Alex Cobb. First pitch of the game tonight is a strike call. First pitch presented by Pinch A Penny. One ball, one strike. Ellsbury starting the night, as you can see right there, at 256 on the year. Cobb ahead of him with a fastball. That pitch fouled, so it's 1-2.
Well, and the way this Red Sox lineup throws out there at you, Ellsbury, very good base stealer, good base runner. Victorino, same thing. You've got to really work to keep these guys off of base, because then you get to Pedroia, who's red hot. Ortiz can hurt you at any time. Napoli's got big time power. So Cobb's going to need to live in the bottom of the strike zone.
And he strikes out Ellsbury to start the game. He had him out in front. Well, that was that changeup. That was so good last time. Right now, Alex has a real good feel for this pitch. Picks up another strikeout here. And here's the deal, I think. You know, we talked in the open that he would love, okay, I don't want that many strikeouts. Give me some ground balls early in the count outs. He's not a guy that goes for the strikeout. These are just happening because that pitch is so good. And when he gets to 2 strikes, he likes to use it. And it's been the disappearing ball. And so I don't even know if he can help himself with these strikeouts right now, as good as that pitch is. He's too good with it.
He really.
That's what you're saying.
Well, because there's some pitchers out there that go for the strikeout. Yep. They want to strike guys out. He doesn't. But that changeup is so good, and was so good his last time out, that he's running into him right now.
Well, he is the guy who has consistently pitched deeper in the games than any other Rays starter this year. That's part of his game plan. Didn't work out that way the last time out with all those strikeouts.
And I'll tell you what, San Diego did a nice job of working at bats off him, fouling off a lot of pitches, extending and prolonging at bats, which eventually led into strikeout.
Down to third off Victorino's bat. Longoria throws him out.
You would take that all day long, and that's what Alex Cobb is built for. He's got a bulldog mentality. He's a guy that wants to attack and go deep into a game. But he also has the stuff that's set up to get tons of ground balls. There's some of the notes from that last start.
What an inning that was. Facing 4 hitters, didn't allow a hit. He struck out all 4, and they still scored a run. Dustin Pedroia takes the ball. That curveball that stayed up and in a little bit.
Now, this is a guy right here who's covering just about everything. He's got 18 multi-hit games on the season. That's good for tied for second in Major League Baseball, and he's actually done it 7 of his last 9 games.
He's 5th in the league in hitting, 5th in on-base percentage. You know you're having a pretty good year if your slugging percentage is .423, but your on-base percentage is higher than your slugging percentage. And that's the case with Pedroia. He's 4th in walks, so he's on base. He's getting hits with men in scoring position.
How about he has more walks than strikeouts? 24 walks, 22 strikeouts. And by the way, unless you think that's fluky, he's actually done that in 3 different seasons for the entire year.
Yeah, and he's a guy who doesn't cut down his swing either.
Which I know, and that's the thing about him. He gets that long stride. He has that huge swing, but yet is still able to maintain good bat control.
Yeah, there are times when that bat seems longer than he is tall when you watch him swinging.
Oh yeah, who's swinging who?
And guys, there's a reason why he can swing so big, because you know, now as a former player now, and I teach a lot of kids hitting and stuff, this is not the way you want to teach it. But the reason is that works for Dustin Pedroia. Believe it or not, the diminutive factor works to his advantage. The fact that he's got very short arms creates a quicker stream to the ball.
And they got him. He's out on strikes. Change up, 2 strikeouts in the first, a 1-2-3 inning. Rays coming in to hit. Scott's up in the number 2 spot for the first time this year as the DH. Ben Zobrist hits 3rd. Evan Longoria, Yunel Escobar, James Loney down the middle. Sean Rodriguez gets another start against the lefty. Jose Lobaton will catch it, hit 8th, and Ryan Roberts will bat 9th.
Well, making the start tonight for the Boston Red Sox is going to be left-hander Felix Doubront. You see that he's appeared in 6 games, 5 starts. His last outing was an appearance. That was the ball game, Dwayne. You remember that shootout with the Minnesota Twins early. Alan Webster started for the Boston Red Sox, was knocked out in the 2nd inning. Felix Doubront came in and pitched 5 1/3, gave up 11 hits and 6 earned runs in that game. This will be his first start since May the 3rd. Let's take a look at the defense as it lines up behind him in the outfield, left to right. Daniel Nava, Jacoby Ellsbury, and Shane Victorino. Across the infield, 3rd to 1st, Will Middlebrook, Stephen Drew, Dustin Pedroia, and Mike Napoli. Jared Saltalamacchia will be behind the plate.
John Farrell keep an eye on Dubron tonight. His last start that you referenced was back on the 3rd of May. He gave up 6 runs on 12 hits and 3 2/3 in that one. And Desmond Jennings about to step in.
And his last 2 appearances have cost him 2 runs in the ERA department.
First pitch, cut and a miss on the fastball.
Before that start against the Texas Rangers, he was 3-0 with a 4.24, and he has been the beneficiary of tremendous run support. That's what has allowed him to have that winning record with the high ERA.
It's a 1-1 count. Here you see the breakout in the Minnesota outing. Two and one. They're a little concerned because his velocity has been down from the last year or two.
You know, we've been saying that about an awful lot of pitchers. You know, velocity a little bit down, a couple of ticks. What's in the water? But yeah, Felix
maybe
Dubron.
It's what's not in the water.
Well, maybe. Maybe.
You don't even really want to go there. Dubron has made 4 prior starts, and against the Rays he strikes out Jennings with a fastball.
He was able to do that by changing eye level. He climbed the ladder with that fastball out over the plate, elevated. That can be a good pitch for Dubron, especially when you combine that with his curveball.
Well, Luke Scott up in the number 2 spot. He is the 7th different Ray to start a game and hit second for Joe Madden. The pitch is a strike. Luke's up there because he's shown some pop against Dubron in the past. 2 career home runs off the Boston left-hander. In fact, he's the only Ray in the lineup tonight who's hit a home run off Dubron.
Well, and Dubron has only given up 1 home run, even amidst the 6.40 earned run average on the season. In 32 1/3 innings of work, he's given up just 1 homer.
That was to a right-handed hitter, while lefties are hitting over 400 off him. 417. Check swing, and that's going to be a base hit. With the shift, Drew had no chance, made a play on it. A little check swing, and Scott has an infield hit. They have shifted Middlebrooks to the right side of second base, leaving Drew alone over there. That's crossing up the D.
Yeah, you'll take that. Boy, that was just a check swing, and like you said, with that left side of the infield basically abandoned. No play to be made.
So there's a base runner for the Rays, and here's Ben Zobrist. There's some hitters in both these lineups when you get down toward the middle part. Hitters here for the Rays and the Red Sox who've been very good this year with men in scoring position. Zobrist, one of them. He's hitting .333. Longoria on deck, .361 with men in scoring position. Scott's at first base right now. And BA, you referenced how good the Red Sox have been offensively, and that's the thing that really impresses me when you look at what they've done, starting with Victorino in their lineup, and just go down and see what they've done with men in scoring position. Some clutch hits out of both these teams. Zobrist ahead in the count, 3-0.
You know, and Arestas can speak to this, but these hitters, they do such a good job because they go up with a plan. They got runners out in scoring position, and they don't get too anxious. You know, you hear Evan Longoria talk an awful lot about that. Don't try and do too much. Just stay within your swing mechanics and just try to hit the baseball hard somewhere.
get some guys up there, guys out at second and third, and all of a sudden they want to start jumping at the ball, being a little bit too aggressive, and they get themselves out.
And that's how you hit with runners in scoring position, by the way. We've just turned a corner dramatically to an over 350 RISP since April 15th, and it's because we're more patient.
And ball 4, that'll push Scott up to second, and Zobrist takes over at first base, sending Evan Longoria to the plate.
And this is one of those pitchers, too, that right now on the season, 16 walks coming into this ball game, 16 walks in just over 32 innings. The command has not been there. In fact, if you look at what teams have done against Felix Doubront within the first 2 pitches of an at-bat, hitters are hitting 444, have driven in 10 of the 20 runs off of him, all within the first 2 pitches. Trying to throw that first pitch strike. He's predictable early in the count, trying to get a first pitch strike and catching way too much plate.
And the velocity's been down a little bit as he tries to get ahead with a fastball that not quite as quick as it has been. And here's Evan going after the first pitch, and he skies it, got under it. Back into center. Ellsbury's there to make the catch. Scott's going to tag and go to third, taking advantage of Ellsbury's arm. And the Rays will have men on the corners.
They're going to test Ellsbury's arm as often as they can, and Evan Longoria would love to see that pitch again. That was one of those first pitch fastballs that was right out over the heart of the plate, and Evan just got underneath it. Throw this again. Oof. And you can see the way he flung the bat that he was not going to be happy with that result because he got a pitch to hit.
And guys, here's an example of a guy that definitely in the first 2 or 3 weeks in Yunel Escobar was over trying to do things, over trying to impress, swinging with his body, doing all kind of crazy things up at the plate. And then in the last couple of 3 weeks, he's really has calmed himself down, let his hands, which are fantastic hands, do the talking instead of the body. And then with runners in scoring position, also not try to do too much. Hopefully he can do something here and be patient.
He's had a nice little homestand here, 9 out of 31. And he takes the first pitch, the curveball down.
He's had a lot of bad luck too, guys. I mean, I know we've all been watching this. He's hit a lot of balls hard right at people, but in May already hitting over 280 and showing the signs of the fact that for 6 years he's been a major league 280 hitter. That's saying a lot.
And Orestes, you referenced it. You were talking about him as he came to the plate, but you're a new guy. You're coming over to a new ball club with high expectations. You're taking a prominent position out to be the everyday shortstop. You know this team doesn't have that many everyday players as far as set-in-stone position players. And so sometimes you're exactly right. You press, you try to do too much, and it takes a little while to get into the rhythm of a season. And you see that all the time.
And there's a big difference when I was talking about Dustin Pedroia and Yunel Escobar, size-wise, literally. So when you overswing as a Dustin Pedroia, you could still get to the ball because you have shorter arms. Believe it or not, you guys might think, well, no, it really is true because it's a shorter path to the ball. When you're a big, long-arm guy like Yunel and you overswing, you have a longer trek to the ball. So you have to calm your body down. And I've talked to him since the beginning of the season, and in fact had a great post-game talk with the one and only Jose Bautista, his teammate with Toronto for the last couple of years. Jose, myself, and Yunel in the parking lot for about 30 minutes, and Jose was saying just that. Dude, especially when you're ahead in the count, let your hands do the talking.
Fouls this one out of play, a fastball.
Well, that's why I couldn't hit that way. That was it, because I've got these long monkey arms.
There you are.
and I was too long to the ball.
There you go.
That was too long to the ball.
It's tricky.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 6'4", I got very long. I had to learn to also try to just calm myself down, calm my body down, and then snap the hands, because if you swing those long arms, man, I tell you, it's like, you only can hit with certain pitches. Put it that way. You probably have 2 pitches you can hit, not the other 7 or 8.
You get tied up all the time.
Well, it's like when I go buy shirts. Yeah, I find a shirt that fits me in the neck, and it barely comes past my elbow.
Yeah.
And then vice versa. I get the right sleeve side, and I look like it's Daddy's shirt. And I'm 4. It doesn't work.
Oh,
what that has to do with hitting,
I don't know. I have no idea what your shirt buying had to do about that. Nothing at all. Nothing.
It's a 2-2 count to Yunel Escobar. Rays with an opportunity here, first and third, 2 outs in the first. And now the count is full.
How about the do or die scoop there by Saltalamacchia? That was a Rays run. That ball was fastball way short, and he's able to backhand scoop it.
Oh, wow. That was Ole. And believe it or not, right now you have to look on the on-deck circle, even though it's a lefty-lefty matchup. But you just mentioned, Dwayne, Dubron's, over 400 against lefty, and this is the premier lefty hitter on deck in James Loney. So I'd look for a nice fastball out over the plate right now.
3-2, and it's fouled away.
And of course, it came with a slider.
So Escobar will see another 3-2 pitch, and you're right about Loney. He's hit better against left-handed pitchers than anybody else in baseball right now. Again with a 3-2. And it's fouled back. He did come with a fastball there.
Got in on him just a little bit, but Escobar able to foul it off in a nice little battle here. Fouling off pitches, working counts.
Scott got the infield hit. Then Zobrist walked. Scott to third on Longoria's fly ball to center. This will be the 9th pitch of the at-bat to Escobar. And the pitch is ball 4. Dubron started to walk off the mound, and Joe West will not be happy about that.
Well, that's the wrong guy to do that to. That may cost you there, because this ball right at the top of the zone, Dubron thinks that he got it. Joe West, wrong guy. Wrong guy.
It was close. And so the bases are loaded for James Loney.
BA, Joe even looked like he was thinking about, I cannot believe he just did that to me.
Yeah. And
have you been there with Joe a couple times?
Well, you know not to go there with Joe.
I know.
Because this strike zone may shrink in a hurry.
Well, here's Loney. Not only is he hitting .462 against lefties, his average with men in scoring position is in the top 10 in the American League. The pitch is a strike. Dubron, the other times we've seen him pitch, it's been the same kind of cadence out there.
It's very deliberate.
Yeah.
There's no rhythm, no tempo to what he's doing. Very clunky.
1-1.
When you start to run up these innings like this, where you've got 25 pitches and you're taking this much time in between, your fielders, they start to sink back into their heels a little bit. They're not as spry. And these are the kind of pitchers that you don't see the fantastic plays made behind, because these guys, they get heavy legged out there, standing around waiting.
Now it's 2 balls and a strike. The Red Sox on the infield really play Loney around the right side. They're a little different in the outfield, but they have Middlebrooks way off that third base line.
Well, and we've seen before. Here's Middlebrooks here, Stephen Drew here, but we've seen before. Loney, he sprays the ball all over the place and line drives. He's got the whole left side open. He gets a pitch away. I guarantee you that's where he's going.
And he fouls this one back to the left and out of play.
And by the way, that pitch was middle up, and it looked like he was trying to push that ball the other way because he sees the same thing. These hitters, they take a peek out of the fielders. And James Loney, with his ability to use the whole field, that's what's made him so good and what's led to such a high average. Look at him trying to shoot that ball the other way.
Ray's trying to take advantage of the infield hit and the 2 walks.
And that's one thing if you're going to pitch him in, try to pound him in. If you leave pitch out over the plate or away, you're begging for an RBI single, maybe a 2 RBI single.
And that is strike 3 call. Got him looking on the fastball. So the Rays leave him loaded. No score through 1. Infinity, luxury cars that deliver inspired performance. By Florida Department of Transportation, drive sober or get pulled over. By Tampa Bay Times, amazing stories only in the 2013 Pulitzer Prize winning Tampa Bay Times. And by Toyota, let's go places. We're moving into the 2nd inning here at Tropicana Field. No score. Rays leaving the bases loaded in the bottom of the 1st. Red Sox went down 1-2-3 against Alex Cobb in their 1st. Cobb will face David Ortiz to begin the 2nd. Mike Napoli will follow, and Daniel Nava. Ortiz, the DH, starts the night at 3:25. Fouls that first pitch, a fastball back. Take a look at our Firestone Complete Auto Care Extra Mile. And David Ortiz has hit a mile, the proverbial mile here at the Trop. 27 home runs for David Ortiz in his career, topping that list. Two. Ortiz had a base hit and a run batted in last night's game. He homered his first time up in the series Tuesday night. ball. Ortiz out at first. The Rays had to shift on, and Evan Longoria made that play on the first base side of second base. Brings up Mike Napoli. Napoli among the league leaders in runs batted in. Rays shift for him. The pitch is a strike. Ryan Roberts, you can see him on the shortstop side of second base.
Well, the Rays, you're very proactive with the scouting reports, and you know we talk about it all the time. But if the numbers tell you a certain thing, Joe is not afraid. I mean, you very rarely see shifts like that on right-handed hitters. Mike Napoli, now when he hits the ball hard for power in the air, he will cover the whole field. On the ground, different story.
Good cut and a miss right there, and that's why. You know, we talked about even the Red Sox alignment at the bottom of the first. One way on the infield, the other way in the outfield.
Yeah.
And really the same way here. In fact, here, Jennings in center field is shaded a bit toward right center because that's where a lot of his power is. He'll drive the ball into right center. It squares the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And Mike Napoli, one of those guys too, where you know Alex Cobb is going to go after trying to put him away with that good changeup, but you can also climb the ladder. You saw that fastball that he swung and missed at that was on the inner half above his hands. He's another guy that has that long swing, but it's very quick, very powerful. I mean, you've seen him just flip wrists of balls off the wall.
Goes to 3-2. Napoli laying off the changeup.
Well, that's where you got to be careful. You got to really sell it with good arm speed because Alex Cobb's bottom of the strike zone changeup is right in the swing path of Mike Napoli. Doesn't mean you can't throw it, but you just got to really sell it. He has to believe fastball coming out of your hand.
And he got him. Came right back with it. Strikes him out.
And that was of the last 3 splits that he threw, that was the best one as far as the arm speed goes. I mean, this comes right out. He's boom, quick with the arm. Napoli right over the top of it.
And boy, there's a case they always talk about the changeup, and you let the grip do the work.
Yes.
I mean, and in fact, he appeared to me to be a little quicker with his delivery on that pitch. But you saw the great result.
He was aggressive. The 2 previous, he was throwing a changeup, and he was trying to feel it in there.
Yep.
The last one, he said, you know what? Forget it. I'm going to fire this thing. Let the grip do the work. You know, it's the same as thinking of a golf swing. You know, you have the same swing with a driver or a 7-iron. Well, why doesn't the ball go as far? Well, because you change the face of the club. Same thing with the fastball and the changeup. Same arm speed. The grip, you get those power fingers out from behind the baseball. Let the grip take the speed off.
1-1 to count to Daniel Nava. Well, it's pretty remarkable because hitters, they know these pitchers and they know so often what's coming. Still can't hit it.
Especially with this guy.
Yeah.
You know that Alex Cobb with 2 strikes. I mean, come on. It's like James Shields. How many times do we see him do that? Get ahead of a guy 0-2, and then it would be changeup. You may lay off the first 2, but by 3 or 4, you're going to swing and miss.
Yep.
And that's how he did it. Alex Cobb, very similar in the style.
2 up, 2 down so far in the second inning. 1-2 the count to Daniel Nava. And he's out on strikes. He did it again. Came right back with a changeup. That's 4 strikeouts here through the first 6 hitters. 1-2-3 go the Red Sox. Here in the bottom of the second. In the game tonight and all season long, Tires Plus donates $100 to the Pediatric Cancer Foundation for every Tampa Bay Rays home run televised on Sun Sports. Felix Dubron, 25-year-old lefty out of Venezuela. He made 28 pitches in the first and was not in a hurry. He'll face Sean Rodriguez, Jose Lobaton, and then Ryan Roberts in the Rays half of the second.
He came into this start averaging almost 19 pitches per inning. So they're long and as deliberate as he is. I'll tell you, position players, they love when they get a pitcher out there like Mark Burley, even Alex Cobb, guys with quick rhythm. Get the ball, you already know what you're going to throw. I mean, when you throw that first pitch, you watch a hitter's reaction, you have in your mind an idea of what you want to do in the next pitch. Get going. Some guys more deliberate than others with base runners. They try to slow the game down that way, not let it speed up on them, and that's understandable. But certainly out of the windup, there should be a quick rhythm and tempo to what you're doing.
Dubron quickly ahead. Rodriguez taking a breaking ball for strike two. And he's out on strikes. Right back with it again.
Yeah, well, why not? That's a good curveball there by Dubron. He was able to fool Sean Rodriguez and freeze him. Sean knew it.
Now Jose Lobaton getting a start tonight. He's averaged 271 and for 380 from the right side. It's been interesting to watch him here in the first quarter of the season. He's made the progress behind the plate and at the plate as well.
Yeah, you notice it behind the plate. A lot of times when he's out there, you start to notice those same mannerisms of Jose Molina, the way that they receive the ball. Obviously, those two working together.
Well, you know how valuable, number one, a switch hitting catcher can be.
Yes.
But the first thing you want him to do is do the work behind the plate. And count now 2-1. Orestes, I know that you have from the very beginning kept an eye on Lobaton.
Yep.
Liking his development.
I really have. I mean, he's definitely a work in progress, and but the hitting has come around a little better. You know, I think especially from the left side, he's putting the ball in play real well to left center. He's got a nice swing from the right side, but I really do think that he's potentially a a guy that could hit 250, you know, in the major leagues with what he's got from both sides.
He sends this one into right field. Victorino still going back. That ball had some extra carry on it and a couple steps in front of the wall. He made the catch. So Lobaton gave it a ride from the right side.
Yes, he did. You know, he pushed that ball out there. There was good finish on his swing. That's where that carry came from. 2 hands on the bat and full extension all the way around, and Victorino had to work for that one.
You're right, B.A. Good finish. That engages the hips. A lot of guys will stop their swing a little bit. That one at least, you know, had a little oomph to it. And he's starting to believe that he can hit the big league pitching pretty regularly. He really is. Came out of spring training with a really, really bad spring training. Talked to him the first week or so, and he says, I'm going to do better, but I don't think he believed it yet. And then with the hitting that's come along has got him more confident.
That's the toughest thing of playing at this level, is believing you belong here, believing you can do things well here. And once that starts to click in, that's when you really see players blossom and maximize their potential.
Ryan Roberts takes the 2-0 pitch and sends it high and deep to left. Nava back, and that's going to get out of here. Home run by Ryan Roberts on a 2-0 fastball.
I'll tell you what, you talk about a guy with a big swing and no 2-strike approach. Ryan Roberts, 2-0, the count firmly in his corner, and he gets one right out over the plate. That ball was tattooed.
You saw the full swing there too, B.A. We talk about it because that truly, the 2-hand full swing, which has kind of gone by the wayside a lot ever since the Charlie Loud days came in, engages your hips if you really get that full swing in.
3rd home run of the year for Ryan Roberts as the Rays take a 1-0 lead. It's only the 2nd home run given up by Felix Dubron. One strike to count to Desmond Jennings. The Rays grabbed the early lead on the long ball, coming out of the number 9 spot in the order. It's a ball, 2 strikes. Desmond started the night at 243, a little over 260 for the year coming into this game against lefties. And he's still not where he wants to be in terms of on-base percentage and all that. But, you know, he scored 28 runs. He's 6th in the league in runs scored, so he's getting on enough to be in the top 10 in runs scored.
And if he continues the maturation process and continues working at bats, seeing a lot of pitches, and finding his way onto base more often, I mean, think where he would be, and even in the stolen base department.
Lifts it into right. Victorino waits for this one. So the Rays are finished in the 2nd, but they pick up a run on a long one off the bat of Ryan Roberts, and the Rays lead 1-0. Let's take a look at tonight's AT&T social media poll. What's your favorite moment from the homestand? TB1, Evan Longoria's walk-off home run. Maybe it's TB2, Super Sam's catch at the wall. TB3, another outstanding defensive play, Matt Joyce's basket catch over the shoulder. TB4, Plantains and Salsa Merengue Band in the clubhouse. TB5, Desmond Jennings' great catch last night. With your vote to @SunSportsRays. Quite an array of moments from which to choose. A lot going on this homestand.
I'm torn. I've got 3. I mean, obviously the walk-off home run was huge. Big win. But I'm a huge fan of the Joyce catch.
Yep.
And I'm a huge fan of the Jennings catch because of that was the one ball that came off the bat that immediately my mind said, no chance he's getting that one. And he runs it down anyway.
Yeah, and his catch, we talked about it at the time, his catch was more spectacular than he made it appear.
Yeah, right, because of the ground he covered. That wasn't a fly ball that he ran a long way from.
Yeah.
That ball was rocketed out to left center field, and he got up and went.
Alex Cobb ahead of Stephen Drew to start the third. Cobb has struck out 4 of the first 6 he's faced.
And to get back on Desmond Jennings, that we were talking about in between innings, this is a guy with his ability to steal bases and trying to get on base more and more. Last year, he was 31 out of 33 in stolen bases.
Yep.
If you're an everyday player with his kind of speed and base stealing ability, 33 attempts is not nearly enough. You need 33 attempts a half.
Yep.
Because 31 out of 33, if you can steal that many bags and you're an everyday player, you'd like to see him run a whole lot more, which means he needs to get on base more.
Yeah, so you're talking what you'd like to see is a minimum of 50 stolen bases.
And he's absolutely capable. I don't think anybody would argue with that. And if they would, I'd like to see him out back.
A little tap of foul ball. Oh, feisty tonight.
It's been an interesting run, D-Wayne.
Arestas, he's feeling hitterish up here.
He's very hitterish.
But
He's like
no
James
bat in
Boney.
his hand.
Like James Boney, yeah, but he's got,
Not yet.
Not yet. Be careful. The night is young. And he's wearing camouflage, which is really scary.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know what hit you.
Guys,
inside.
Mentioning Desmond Jennings, this is a point in time, 40th game? I don't know how much you guys have talked about it, but how much are we missing B.J. Upton, at least defensively in center field? I think the kid has done as good a job as we could ask for in replacing a very, very talented center fielder in B.J. Upton.
Well, and that's right. And with all due respect to his ability, to B.J. Upton's ability in center field, Jennings is a better center fielder.
Wow, D-Wayne.
That's big.
That's aggressive.
I have to agree with him.
It's aggressive.
Fly ball back into center. Jennings is there for this one, and he makes the catch.
Nice time.
Look at that.
Nice time.
This is a guy that's done over 5,000 games. He knows exactly what the next out is going to be. That's incredible.
This game's already been played for Dwayne.
This game's already been played? Dude, we're way behind this right now.
Yeah, but I got the Phantom sitting next to me, so I'm not really sure what's going to happen next in that regard.
This is like Yoda we're working with over here. This is incredible. Oh, my God.
But I think the point that you're making, Arrest, is right on. That Upton, obviously, we saw him play center field here, and we saw him make spectacular catches. It doesn't take anything away from him to say that that Jennings is a better center fielder. I would think of the breaking ball. He makes very difficult plays in routine fashion because he gets great breaks on balls and he runs outstanding routes. And those two things in concert, this guy is just a great center fielder.
You're right. And you've seen some other guys play a nice center field that maybe don't give good jumps, but they're able to outrace their mistakes with just pure speed. Desmond Jennings, like you said, combines the two, and that's what puts him up in that elite level.
Reminds me of a guy that played it so well for so long for Atlanta and made it look effortless, and Andrew Jones.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and that's why when he wouldn't get to a ball that he should, Bobby Cox wasn't afraid to have him come sit with him.
That's right. High fly ball out the bat of Middlebrooks. That ball's got some carry, but Jennings is there to take care of this one.
BA, should we say any more? I mean, we're being taught a lesson here, BA.
Yeah, I know. It's being taken to the woodshed.
He makes the comment.
Right.
The guy makes two plays look, hard plays make look easy.
So 2 gone with the bases empty. Hey, the other thing, we changed well, let's not change the subject because we're going to watch him again go right to where this ball is going to be.
And never taking the eyes off of it either, or very rarely. That's a dangerous roof here. Obviously, Desmond used to it, but yeah, he sets his body up right, and he's off to the races.
Saltalamacchia takes a pitch that just does miss. The other topic, and now with the count 1-0, they're going to move Longoria over to the first base side of second base. The important thing here tonight for Cobb so far, if he can get Saltalamacchia on a low pitch count, his pitch count is what he wants it to be at this point.
Yeah.
This one to left. Sean Rodriguez right there, and it's a 1-2-3 inning. We go to the bottom half of the frame. 1-0 Rays.
Field, Lieutenant Colonel Will Adams and his daughter Elena and his wife Dana. Here's the setup. The Lieutenant Colonel was in Afghanistan for the last year, so he did a message on the video board. Then he comes out in catcher's gear, unbeknownst to his daughter, Elena. You can see that smile underneath the mask. So Elena, who thought she was out here to throw out the first pitch for USO, throws it to the mask catcher right down the middle. Nice toss there. And then the moment. That's amazing. That is amazing. Lieutenant Colonel, your thoughts when you see that?
Just can't believe I'm finally back with the girls, and there's so many service members still overseas, and we just really appreciate what the USO and Tampa Bay Rays could do for us.
How did you keep your emotions in check when you went out there with the mask on?
A lot of deep breaths, like I told my daughter to do, and it worked out, but I was pretty excited.
So you've been gone for a year. You just turned 40 not too long ago. Can you think of any can they give any better birthday gift than this?
Yeah, I tell you, I got promoted. I turned 40. I got to find a midlife crisis, and I can move out, I think.
Elena, what about the moment for you after the pitch?
I was very excited, and for a second I thought that it was a dream.
You thought it was a dream? So as you started to walk to home plate and then you saw your dad, what was going through your mind? That you were dreaming?
Yeah, pretty much.
And then you guys haven't been separated since. I know Kelly Johnson gave you his batting gloves, right? That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
He gave you his Mother's Day batting gloves. It was a good pitch, by the way, too.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So, Dana, to wrap it all up, what does this night mean, for you?
I'm just still in complete shock. I had no idea. And usually I pick up on things. I just no idea whatsoever. So it's very exciting.
Lieutenant Colonel, that was an amazing moment. Thank you for sharing it with us. The USO helped make it happen with the race. So thank you very much. And thanks for all you do for us.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Guys, this is one of the great moments you'll see before a game. Back to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Todd. And we appreciate and thank the Lieutenant Colonel for his service and his family as well. And it was indeed an emotional moment. Here in the bottom of the third, Felix Doubront having a little difficult time finding the plate, and had Luke Scott dodging the pitch just prior to that strike. It's now 3-1. And Scott draws the walk.
Well, I didn't see any of it, D-Wayne, because I was dabbing the eyes. That was one of the coolest things I've ever seen at a baseball game.
Yeah, was that really great?
That was outstanding.
It really was.
Yep.
Yeah, that's certainly one for the highlight reel. Not only in baseball, but just for a moment. It's great to see them all back together again. Luke Scott's at first. Ben Zobrist in the batter's box. And that's a strike. Braves got a run in the second inning on the Ryan Roberts home run. Ball, one strike.
A pretty good curveball there. Definitely was out over the plate. Joe West might have had that down, but I hear the Rays have been given a gift too. Lead-off walk, middle of the order coming up.
Two and one. What we've had in terms of pitchers opposite ends of the spectrum here. Alex Cobb's gone out, established a quick little rhythm, and Felix Doubront has been the antithesis of that.
And only expect it to get worse as these hitters come up. Obviously Zobrist and then Longoria, runner on base. That's when he really slows things down.
Evan on deck.
Doing some landscaping out there on the mound.
And that's a strike. Fastball catches Zobrist looking.
Now's when you start to wonder what is in the scouting report on Doubront with 2 strikes that the Rays, because you've seen Ben Zobrist now, James Loney. These are guys that don't take heaters. I mean, that's right there, right down the middle. That very rarely do you see Ben do that. James Loney especially. That ball that was away from him was set up perfectly for his swing to shoot that ball to left field, and got hung up on that fastball that was on the outer half.
Here's Evan Longoria. Strike the count to Evan.
Hey, Dwayne, I wanted to, because you've done so many games with both, knowing both leagues. A guy that I appreciated so much, even though he kept me down in AAA, was Don Mattingly. And I compare Evan Longoria very much to a right-handed Don Mattingly in the way that he approaches using all the field. Not really known as a big power guy, but how patient he is. In fact, if you pay attention to Evan, he'll set up a certain pitcher, and maybe he'll swing the first pitch fastball like he did in that last at bat. But most of the times, he'll actually take the first pitch, and a lot of times the fastball, the league kind of knows it. Very reminiscent of Donnie Baseball. Don Mattingly back in the day would take that first pitch fastball, but he was such a calm and very collected hitter.
Yeah, to me, that always, the little looper into right, going to be in for a base hit. Scott stops at second base. What always amazed me in those hitters, Orestes, is they combine the power with quality hitting.
Yes.
It's one thing to hit 300 or 330 without the power. It's another thing to have the power and hit 220 or 240. But Longoria is one of these guys, the same way you're talking about Mattingly from the left side before the back and all of the other issues that Mattingly had. But those guys hit with power, but they also were just good, solid, great hitters. And that's such a rare combo. And when we see Longoria's approach and then the carry he gets on a fly ball to right center as well as left, that's something special right there.
Well, that's why it reminds me of Donnie, because Donnie had great bat control and back spin on the ball.
There's Escobar going after a first pitch fastball, and he skies it out of play. Strike one.
Well, that's what you see with Evan's swing. You know, he stands nice and tall at the plate. He's got that slight open stance, good view of the pitcher, with those hands very, very high. And he gets those hands to the baseball super quick and bringing them from where they are as he gets his load down. He hits down through that baseball, and that's where you get that tremendous backspin and get the carry. That's why he can launch those balls to right center and to left center that just seemingly don't come down.
Yeah, when Longoria first came up, that's the first thing that I noticed about him. There's a lot of things special about what he does as a player. But when you started to break all the things that he could do down, when I saw the ball consistently get that carry, I thought, this kid really is special. And he's just continued to do that, and as the great hitters do.
And the other thing that he does that this team now does very well, we have not done it very well in the last couple of years, is that, and again, reminiscent of the guy that I knew well in Don Mattingly, great two-strike hitter. He'll break it down, not to say he won't strike out, but he'll battle two strikes, go the other way, break down a tough pitcher and say, okay, I'm not going to hit a jack here, but I'm going to double him to right, or I'm going to hit him the opposite field. And the whole team has emulated that. We're a much better two-strike team.
High fly ball back down the middle to center field. Ellsbury to the edge of the turf, makes the catch, a tag at second, and Scott's going to go to third. It'll be first and third now with two gone. Well, and both you fellas know that what the rest of the team is doing that Longoria does, that's leadership by example. And that happens on a pitching staff, happens with everyday players.
Yeah, but here's the thing that is special about the hitting with two strikes and being very adept at that is it's not comfortable for hitters. There are a lot of hitters in this game that want to get nowhere near two strikes. They're not comfortable with it. That's why you see them up there hacking early. Those are guys you could take advantage of. The guys that are willing to work at bats, the guys that are willing to hit with two strikes. Very confident hitters, difficult hitters to deal with.
Well, and I thought we heard George Hendry in the dugout the other night. I thought that was just the simplest form of what an approach should be when you've got a pitcher and a hitter talking. He says, my job was to get my pitch before you got the pitch you wanted.
That's right, and that's and that's where you have that fine line where you walk between being ready to hit and working an at bat. Because you can't. Listen, you'd love to go up there and work an at bat, 4, 5, 6 pitches and get one to hit. But if he lays one in there right off the bat, you better be ready to go now.
Yep.
You got to pull the trigger now. And that's the fine line that guys walk, and the Rays have done a great job of that over the last month.
Men on base again here in the third. 2 outs. 1-1 to count to James Loney. He pops it back into center. That will carry to Ellsbury to retire the side. Rays lead 2 through 3. They lead 1-0. H.H. Gregg. Alex Cobb back to the hill to start the 4th inning. He's had 3 consecutive 13-pitch innings, 39 pitches through 3. His last start after 3, he had 74 pitches. So he's accomplishing what he wanted to accomplish through the first 3 innings of this game.
Now he has taken it right to this Boston lineup. Attack, attack, attack. The changeup again has been good. Seen some breaking balls, fastballs well located.
Top of the order. Ellsbury takes the first pitch for a ball. Cobb with a couple strikeouts in the first. He had 2 more in the 2nd inning. And a line drive grabbed by Escobar, reaching up, and how about the toss in the aftermath of that great little catch? The flip back to Longoria. So Ellsbury's out of there. Well, nice little grab there, Arestas.
Yeah, you know, it's a little Cuban style there. We tend to be sometimes flashy and over flashy. But anyway, listen, one thing that I wanted to ask BA about is that I've been looking at it for all this year, and actually even since last year, is Cobb's kind of curious slow motion to the leg straighten out. And I think, and now that I'm in field level here, I'm trying to time in as a left-handed hitter. It kind of affects you a little bit because if you notice, he kind of slows his leg kick out as he's coming in the windup. You're timing him as a hitter, and then he does his little straighten out bend thing. I wonder, BA, you think he does that just that's his style, or is something he does to trick guys?
You know, I don't know. I would think really it would be just his style. Now, who knows who taught him that as Victorino rips one down the line into the corner.
Zobrist plays the carom, and Victorino's in with a stand-up double, the first base runner of the game for Boston, a 1-out double.
You know, Orestes, I think, too, could be a timing mechanism for him. Yeah. Because what it allows him to do is you see how he's deliberate, you know, in his windup, is it allows him to stay over the rubber, stay taller just a little bit longer, and then really drive downhill. That's where he's able to create angle. See how deliberate he is, everything working in sync, and then drive the ball downhill. Yep. This one catches a little bit too much plate. But it could just be, you know, listen, it's like your style of hitting, my style of pitching. You get into your mechanics at a young age, and you can tweak them here or there, but that's kind of how they are. And that's a good timing mechanism for Alex to be able to be out in front and in sync with his pitches.
Now out of the stretch for the first time tonight, tries to throw the curveball, and it stays in.
You know, it used to be where I would take my hands over my head. Right. And I had a pitching coach that we would time it out when my delivery would get a little sloppy and I'd get a little bit long, and that when my arm would start to dip a little bit, balls would stay elevated. And learned that if I was going to go back over my head, I had to take the heel of the glove to the beanie on the hat and no further. Any further than that, I would start to get out of sync. But if I kept it right above the beanie, then everything was on time. So that was one of those keys that we talked about.
Speaking of on time, here, first time out of the stretch, Cobb has had difficulty with that curveball, and immediately Jim Hickey to the mound.
He sees it. He sees something. He's going out there. You know, you're right. First time out of the stretch, and that's why when you go out each inning to warm up, you've got to throw a couple out of the windup and the stretch, because there could be an hour before you're thrown out of the stretch in the bullpen. Could be you get off to a good start like Alex has. It's been a while since you've been out of the stretch, and it's two different motions, really.
The 1-out double by Victorino has set up this situation. You've got Pedroia up there, and this goes back to what we were talking about early. This part of this lineup with men in scoring position. Pedroia 354, Ortiz 10 out of 30, Napoli over 300. It's tough.
It is, and that's why Jim Hickey went out there so quick. Here's the deal: it's a one-run ball game, a game that you really want to win badly. And you'd love to have your pitcher figure it out and make the adjustment on his own. You don't have time right now. Not with this part of the lineup coming up and a runner on second base. So Jim Hickey's going to go out there and try to get him back in line quick.
A little tap to third. That's a foul ball. No chance really to throw him out if it is fair. And fortunately for the Rays, and Longoria eyeing that one, grabbed it, foul.
Yeah, watch Evan. that thing go. Now grab it. Get it out of there.
So they're back to 2-2 in the count with Pedroia. You almost have to remind yourself that it is a 1-0 game. It seems the Rays should have more than just the 1 run through their first 3 against New Braun. Bouncer right side. Roberts gets there. So Pedroia is out number 2. Victorino advances to 3rd.
I think Pedroia was trying to shoot the hole there. Ryan Roberts was shading him up the middle. He got that off-speed pitch away, tried to go for the hole, but he chopped it. That gave Roberts time to be able to get over and get in front of it.
Now it's David Ortiz. Ortiz was thrown out by Longoria in the 2nd inning, but that's when Evan was on the first base side of 2nd. And a liner headed toward the corner and right. 1 hop to the wall. And now a big turn at first. Ortiz hangs on at first base. Victorino scores the tying run. And Ortiz has himself a single, a 1-hopper off the wall.
Well, you've seen the Rays at times trying to crowd David Ortiz, and this ball from Alex, just a little bit too much run back out over the plate. You see where he wanted that pitch, and it ended up middle. And that's the dangerous part about Ortiz. You can get in on him at the hands, but if you miss, he usually doesn't.
So it's a tie game. Here's Mike Napoli. Breaking ball down. Cobb struck out Napoli on a changeup in the 2nd inning. Cut 1-1.
Big break drop on this fork change that he throws. I mean, it's almost like a fork ball. It reminds me of Adele Nomo back in the day. How much it's dropping as about halfway to the plate, 3/4 of the way. It just, the bottom drops.
Well, you know, and he calls it his changeup. That's what, you know, that's what we're going with. But just watch him, watch the grip and watch him throw it. That's a flat out split finger.
Maybe even a fork.
Yeah, well, he's got it tucked back there pretty tight. But again, all different styles of changeups. The whole idea of a changeup is take the power fingers, which is the index finger and the middle finger, out from behind the baseball. If you do that by splitting them, if you do it by rolling it over on the side and making it a circle change, whatever your style is, you take those 2 fingers out from behind the baseball, and that's a changeup.
See that grip inside the glove?
Oh, yeah. And he gets that thing tucked back there nice and deep. And right there, you can throw it as hard as you want, but with those fingers not directly behind the baseball, it cannot travel as hard as a fastball.
Two blocked by Lobatone.
BA, they don't teach as much. I don't see as much dragging the back foot on changeups as much as I remember. Or they still kind of do that? Is it more about the grip than it is the back leg foot kind of dragging through to slow your motion down?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that used to be one of the thoughts, is you try to keep that back foot on the rubber as long as possible. But yeah, now they want the hand, the arm out in front. They want it active on all the pitches.
Out on strikes to end the inning. Red Sox score a run. Bottom of the 4th coming. It's a 1-1 game.
one. The biggest question on everyone's minds last night, will David Price go on the DL? Well, now that he's on one for 15 days, everybody wondering, will that be long enough? But Joe Maddon keeping a positive outlook. He sent out this tweet prior to the game, got a good vibe after talking to David. I don't anticipate an extended stay on the disabled list for him. Now, Maddon has not decided who will start Monday in Price's absence, but he will be making that decision soon. What do you think, BA? Dwayne, is Jake Odorizzi the front runner for a call-up or what?
Could be.
Yeah, I think he's probably the favorite right now. Right now, they wanted to cover the bullpen. Alex Torres has joined the club to do that. But it would appear the way things stacked up, and Odorizzi might have the inside track to be the guy. Sean Rodriguez looking at a breaking ball. He saw a couple of those and, in fact, was called out on a curveball in the second inning, and that's what Dubron starts him with here in the fourth. It's a 1-1 count. Seattle has a 2-1 lead on the Yankees in the top of the fifth in New York. Here the Rays and the Red Sox are tied 1-1. Obatone next, and then Roberts. Two. Ron trying to throw the breaking ball there. Rodriguez out there to check on it, but it did not break. So he took it from ball two. Again.
Well, they're going to continue to attack him with that pitch. It's got a lot of depth to it. He's shown some good ones. You may have a pitch you want to use against a guy, but you just can't keep going to it. At some point, you got to get him off of that and then go back to it. Like right there.
Fastball and
speed him up. Now, if you want to go back, listen, there's guys where it's, hey, I want to get him out with my changeup. I want to get him out with my breaking ball. So you throw him that breaking ball for strike one, get ahead of him, and then you show him something else. Get him off of it. He's seen too many here. Look at this fastball. It's kind of close. Isn't that cute? And then you come back to it.
We can all relate to that from time to time.
Yeah.
Now the count is full.
Well, and he's done a nice job. Again, it comes back to execution always. He's done a nice job of the breaking ball, getting ahead, a couple of fastballs to show, going back to the breaking ball, and he's hung a couple. Kept him out of the zone.
3-2 now. And a cut and a miss. He went to the fastball and strikes him out.
He did, and he put that ball up and away from Sean, borderline in the strike zone. Tough pitch to get on top of. This is going to be close, too close to take.
See, Dwayne, that's why I don't like pitchers. You know what I mean? It's because they describe, toying with us as, here's a little fastball. It's kind of cute. Here, take a look at this one. It's kind of cute. And then I'm going to embarrass you with this changeup on the block. See ya. Yeah, real nice, BA. And you wonder why we don't like you guys.
Well, that's why you're down in the well. They can't even keep us together.
Yeah, they couldn't even put us together, the hitter and pitcher.
Separated by all this space.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
2 strikes. Obatone missing the fastball.
Somehow I don't think that you feel real bad for us at all.
At all. No, and then but you also got to remember that a guy like Longoria will also play it backwards and set up a pitcher, and go, yeah, I'm going to swing badly at this changeup here, and then you throw it again, and I'm going to take it out the right.
Well, you know who used to do that? Tony Gwynn.
Yeah.
Tony Gwynn would deliberately look bad on a pitch that he wanted to see later in the at-bat, and when he went back to it, he smoked it. And you were like, what? How did you do that? Well, you're right, but when hitters reach the level of setting pitchers up,
that's incredible.
That is beyond elite.
Yeah. Manny Ramirez told me he used to do that too. In his heyday, Manny said, I used to just take a bad swing on a righty slider guy, because I'd be like, oh, yeah, I can't hit that. Oh, look at me flailing.
Hey, Kurt Schilling was one of the best students of the game as far as studying, breaking down video. And his time in Boston, he said that Manny Ramirez was the best right-handed hitter that he ever played with.
True that. Really, people don't realize in his heyday what we're talking about here. I'll never forget Manny. I was doing a game, and Manny came up with a kid that just freshly got called up. He had never even heard his name, never seen him. He's on deck. He gets up there. The kid throws him a funky curveball first pitch. He took him out to 400 feet to center at Fenway. I go, he's never seen this kid. And it was a fastball, okay. Curveball.
Robertone out on strikes. Worked the count to 3-2, and he's down, missing the fastball.
You know, even at this level, some guys just play at a different level. They just raise their game. Yeah, but Dwayne, going back to what you were saying last half inning, Rays with an awful lot of chances off Felix Doubront, just the one run. You just hope that they don't allow him now to settle in. Now at 80 pitches, how much longer is he going to go? Who knows?
You know, Ryan Roberts providing the only run when he hit the 2-0 fastball out of here for the home run. Rays had the bases loaded in the first. They left men at first and third in the third. Well, here's what's happening with DeGrom. He's getting a chance to work from the windup.
Yes. And his pacing is a little bit better out of the windup. A little bit better.
And he gets a curveball in the play here to get ahead in the count.
He's starting to mix his pitches well, too. You've seen the fastball, and he's been pretty good at locating that. The curveballs come into play, a couple of changeups. You got a nice little mixture going.
Tapper left side. This is Drew on the run, making the play. And the Rays are up and down 1-2-3. We head into the fifth. Rays and the Red Sox tied. From in, auto stop, foolproof stat. First 9 games of the homestand for the Rays, 6-3, averaging over 5.5 runs a game. Boy, the Rays are thinking 7-3 would look a lot better than 6-4.
Oh, yes, it would. Well, I mean, that is a big difference, 6-4 to 7-3, one game, but talked about it, you know, all these games within the division here. Boston, and then obviously Baltimore, Toronto, and then New York comes into town. Those are the games you want to win.
Well, Alex Cobb, 4 innings, has given up 1 run, 2 hits. You know, through the first couple innings, he had struck out 4 of the 6 outs. He retired the first 10 men he faced. Daniel Nava to lead off the 5th inning.
By the way, did I just say that? Those are the games that you want to win. That's somebody talking to hear themselves talk, as opposed to the games you want to lose. You sound like a moron when you say things like that. Am I right?
I've never really thought of you in those terms.
Well, I did. And it comes out of your mouth, and you're like, really? You're just going to take a 20-second timeout. Take it back. Jeez. I just hung one.
Just take them one game at a time, that's all.
Yeah. Good Lord willing. Good broadcast.
Line drive caught by Loney. So Nava is out of there. And join the team with Rays season tickets. Choose from a variety of plans and get the best seats, the biggest savings, and exclusive benefits throughout the year. Reserve your seats today by calling 888-FAN-RAYS or visiting RaysBaseball.com. Stephen Drew. That's a strike. I'm about to make his 60th pitch of the game. Pop foul. Montgomery is after it. He might have a play. Going to be close and just out of his reach. Careful against that low wall. Very close down there.
You see Evan trying to track it, find the wall, and just out of his reach.
Strikes. Threw him a changeup. 2 gone. Strikeout number 6.
Yeah, and how many on the changeup? 5 or 6?
I've got him 5 on changeups. They got Napoli with a fastball. So 5 of the 6 have come on that changeup. Little Brooks, the hitter. Hit the ball a long way to center field, a bit toward right center, back in the 3rd, and Desmond Jennings made that grab. Moves off the curveball. It was getting the strikeout numbers. We're getting ridiculous for Cobb. Striking out 4 of the first 6 he faced in this game. And if you backed it up to the San Diego game and then striking out 3 of the last 5 hitters he saw at Colorado, I mean, it was really ridiculous at that point. He had gone 3 of the last 5 in Colorado, 13 of the last 23 against San Diego, and then 4 of the first 6 here tonight. And when you add all those together, of the 24 outs that had been recorded in that stretch, 20 had come on strikeouts. I mean, that's ridiculous.
It is. That's astounding. Again, one of the strangest lines you'll ever see. Alex was so good. And again, San Diego Padre batters did a nice job of working some counts. How many strikeouts did he have in like 8 or 9 pitch at bats? They could not figure that changeup out. And I think the only way that you would have been able to figure it out is to take it. But see, what Alex does a nice job of is he presents well. He presents it as a strike out of the hand. And then that late finish and the change of speeds will get you. That perfect example right there. Out of his hand, that looked like a fastball just above the knees. You see the grip, and then watch the late action, and it just is gone. And the change of speed. Out in front, not enough bat.
Well, you were talking about this the other night, how a hitter doesn't want to get beat on the fastball.
No.
So he's defending against that possibility.
You got to cover, especially when a guy throws hard. You've got to be able to cover that speed. Where hitters really don't like to get beat is they hate getting beat fastball in, middle in. That's like a machismo thing. And that's why sometimes you see Jeremy Hellickson throwing that changeup in on purpose. You get guys ripping that ball foul or jumping out and swinging so quick. They're so far out in front.
And guys, that's why with the runner scoring position, pitchers pitch away so much, because guys don't want to get beat in. They want to pull. They want to drive that run. And you have to learn how to hit away. And that's what we've been doing definitely since April 17th. That runner scoring position went from 230. It's up over close to 300 now. We've been at a 350 clip since then. What I've noticed is that we've hit the ball the opposite field, something that Boston for the last few years have been really known to do. Fonz last year a little bit, but they're a very good opposite field hitting team.
1-1 to Saltalamacchia. 2 balls and a strike. Middlebrooks walked with 2 outs. That time Saltalamacchia laying off the change out there. By the way, all those numbers on Cobb, I couldn't have calculated all that. Added them up. Rick Odioso is just the best.
Yeah, yeah.
Was busy working just behind us here. Came up with all that.
And so that was 3 of 5, 13 of 23, 4 of what?
6.
Okay, those are my pick 6 numbers.
There you go.
Thanks, Rick.
He's on fire tonight, Dwayne. He's ready.
Oh yeah,
he is.
Hey, anticipating a great road trip.
Yes,
ready to go.
And he's, and then he'll throw out some of the cute stuff out there, and he'll trick us.
Just the way he is. 2-2. A little tap down to first. Taloni unassisted. Walk and a man left. We go to the home half of inning 5, tied 1-1. On-field seating in the Papa John's bullpen box. Available dates are going fast. Act now to make your group reservation right behind the Rays bullpen by calling 855-GROUP-TB or online at raysbaseball.com. Folks getting in on the action right there. Felix Doubront retired 5 in a row, struck out 2 in the 4th. He's made 84 pitches and about to open the bottom half of the 5th. Top of the order, Desmond Jennings stepping in. First pitch off speed and for a strike. Bunt attempt foul. 2. Rays dropped 3 to the Red Sox at Fenway. They've divided the first 2 games here. And in those 4 losses in the season series, the Rays have had a difficult time hitting with men in scoring position. A little bit wide. Started that one wide, trying to cut it over the corner. It's 1-2 now. Cut to miss on the fastball. So that's strikeout number 7. The last 7 outs have come on strikeouts. Now Luke Scott. The Red Sox put the shift on immediately. They leave Drew alone on the left side of the infield. The curveball is in there for a strike. This shift does effectively is make Middlebrooks perhaps the tallest second baseman that you're going to see in a while. Ground ball, 1 hop through the right side, but there's Pedroia in short right field to make the play.
And that's exactly why you do it. You're talking about hitting into the teeth of a shift. That's it. Give Dustin Pedroia, that's why you don't go 3 flat. You give Dustin Pedroia room out there to be able to maneuver on balls to his right or his left because he has a shorter throw. Whereas opposed when you see the Rays shift on a right-handed hitter, it's 3 flat across. You can't have that guy out in shallow left center field. He's not going to be able to make the throw there.
Now Ben Zobrist. Walked and struck out. I think that was just great. You were breaking down the shift, right, left.
Yeah.
Think about this. The shift becomes so prevalent now that we can do that.
Right. It used to be something you see every now and then. We just would ignore it, pretend it wasn't there.
Yeah, for about 30 or 40 years, they talked about the Lou Boudreau design shift on Ted Williams.
Right.
You go, hey, they're playing the shift. Well, yeah, for Ted Williams, Lou Boudreau designed it. Right? Now, everybody has a shift. 3-0. Walks. Evan Longoria is on his way to the plate. DuPont will get a visitor on the hill before Evan steps in. Game tied 1-1. Juan Nieves out there. You know, a lot has been talked about John Farrell and the job he's done as a manager coming over with his pitching staff, but Nieves should get a lot of credit for what's gone on here too.
That's right. You forget about the fact that Boston has a pitching coach. obviously John Farrell used to man that position for Boston before becoming the Toronto manager.
Slow curve taken low by Longoria.
And that's the thing, too. Obviously, Farrell has had an impact, but a lot of that was going to be during spring training when he's got time to make an impact. When the regular season starts, you're a manager. You're managing an entire unit. That's where your pitching coach is the one putting in all the hours, working with these guys, tweaking things, game planning.
Well, we've seen how important that is here with the Rays and the great job that Jim Hickey has done while he's been here.
Oh, he's well, and you know, having had a chance to work underneath him, with him, you could see the preparation and the hours that you put in as a pitching coach, any coach.
Yeah, that's right.
Position coach. It is astounding the amount of video that you watch, trying to make sure that you manage it. You know, Jim Hickey's case. You know, how many pitchers are on his staff? 12 pitchers. And that you've got to have, be able to relate to each guy individually. Not easy.
And I'll tell you, after that visit to the mound, Dubron was not going to give Longoria anything to hit. He didn't come close to giving him anything to hit.
Unintentional, intentional walk right there. Not going to give it. You know, once you fall behind, and you remember Evan, he's sitting there in 2-0, 3-0, begging for that fastball that he got in his first at-bat.
Yeah, that's the one he hit to center field, got under it. So he's at first on a walk. Zobrist at second base. He walked. And Yunel Escobar is 0 for 1, hit a fly ball to center his last time. Escobar coming into this game was 4 out of 10 against Dubron. So let's see if he can cash something in here. Ball one, curveball that stayed away.
He's coming up on 100 pitches, guys, and that, the curveball, like BA says, had nice depth, but seemingly here might be one that he can hang.
Popped up, fastball, short right, and Pedroia makes the catch, hangs on to the baseball. Rays lead 2 through 5. We're tied at 1.
Missed the news before the game. The Rays had to place David Price on the disabled list. First time in his career he's gone on the DL. Alex Torres up from AAA Durham. Here's Evan Longoria's thoughts about Price having to hit the DL.
It is, and I mean, especially since he's such a competitor, and he's a guy that is definitely a leader and a welcome face around this clubhouse. He brings a lot of energy and life into this clubhouse, and so we'll be without him on this road trip, which he'll be missed definitely. But like I said, hopefully it's only for the short term, and he comes back healthy.
Triceps tightness, guys. He will not travel with the team, so the dugout will lose its biggest cheerleader, and obviously every 5 days, one of the better pitchers in baseball. So hopefully just a couple 3 starts for Price, and we'll find out as we move closer. Guys, back to you.
All right, Todd, thank you very much. Jacoby Ellsbury will open the 6th inning against Alex Cobb, who starts his 3rd time through the Red Sox lineup with a curveball strike call. Ellsbury, Victorino, and then Pedroia. It's 1-1. Ellsbury lined to Escobar at shortstop in the 4th inning.
Now you got this game 1-1 going into the 6th inning. Every pitch becomes important. You see runs so far difficult to come by. Alex Cobb now going through this Boston lineup for the 3rd time at the top. Every pitch.
Close there. 2-2. Rays wrapping up their home stand, 6-3 right now. Chopped to 3rd and scooped by Longoria. Throw to 1st in time.
Yeah, not an easy play. And you see Evan, he did not want to wait back on that ball because of Ellsbury's speed, but by charging it, he puts himself in a vulnerable position because of the hop. And watch him get the arm out quick. Just kind of scoop that thing. Again, it's another one of those defensive plays that Evan makes look easy, and it's nothing but. If that made any sense.
Appreciative of that effort right there.
You better believe it. Again, 1-1 game, good base runner. He knows it's a difficult play.
Shane Victorino's double in the 4th inning led to the Boston run. The opening curveball to him is a strike. Red Sox have a run, 2 hits. The Rays a run, 3 hits. One ball, 1 strike. Takes it up the left field side this time, but it's going to be foul. Well, they had doubled toward the right field corner in the 4th and made a bid this time, but foul in the opposite direction. Clayton Mortensen in the bullpen down the left field line. He pitched an inning in 2/3 Tuesday. The middle, but Escobar's there, fires to first. Victorino is out number 2. 2 up, 2 down in the 6th. Make sure you stay tuned after Sunday's game for the premiere of Inside the Rays. Alex Cobb. Todd Callis guides us through Cobb's baseball career from his high school pitching days to his major league debut in 2011. Alex also shares some of his personal life, including his mother's tragic passing his senior year in high school. And we'll see how baseball has helped him get through those hard times. Inside the Rays featuring Alex Cobb Sunday after the Rays game.
Nicely done, Dwayne. That was quite the script.
Pedroia takes it low. 1 ball, no strikes. Thank you.
I could have never done it.
Very kind
like that. Well, listen. They know what they're doing.
Base hit the other way for Pedroia. That's hit number 3 given up by Cobb.
I think that's what Dustin was trying to do in his last at bat, trying to drive in a run by shooting the hole on the right side. Jim Hickey, how about that? Right out again.
Yeah, Hickey was almost at the mound by the time Pedroia got to first.
The ball off the bat, and Hickey was spinning his wheels coming out of there. But again, you talk about every pitch being of maximum importance at this point of the game going forward.
Yep.
This tells you all you need to know. Alex is not struggling.
2-out single by Pedroia. David Ortiz, who lined an RBI single toward the right field corner in the 4th inning, is the hitter here in the 6th.
Guys, you have to figure that if Evan Longoria is our, Mr. all-around monster hitter, then it's David Ortiz. So it's fitting because Juan Nieves, their pitching coach, came on after that walk Ortiz to Zobrist because of Longoria, and Jim Hickey walks out there probably because of Big Papi and his danger.
And I'll bet you anything that he was sent by Joe Madden. I don't know if Jim Hickey goes on his own right there, and Joe said, listen, this is what we need, this is what I want. Go send the message.
So here's Cobb against Ortiz, and a ground ball. Toss to first. Longoria throws him out from the shift. Second time he's done that tonight. We're tied 1-1, middle of 6. Ryan Roberts belted a home run back in the 2nd inning. That gave them a 1-0 lead until the 4th. That's when David Ortiz put a long single toward the right field corner, scoring Victorino. We've been tied since then.
Felix Dubron has done a nice job of pitching around a home run and 5 walks so far and limiting the Rays to that 1 run. That is not easy to do, but he's come up big in some tight spots.
Well, the Rays left the bases loaded in the 1st. They left men at 1st and 3rd in the 3rd, and left men at 1st and 2nd in the 5th. James Loney will lead it off here. in the home half of inning 6 against Felix Doubront. Pitch is inside. He tried to throw the curveball and missed with an in. And that has, at least in the last couple innings, been an issue with him. He's not been able to throw the curveball the way he wants. 2-0. The Rays have been so good with runners in scoring position. In fact, coming into this series, the Rays were hitting .294 with men in scoring position. Going into the game Sunday against San Diego as a team for the year, they were hitting .299 with men in scoring position. But since Matt Joyce's 2-run single in the 5-run fourth Tuesday, the Rays are now 0 for 20 with runners in scoring position. Maloney draws a walk to lead off the 6th inning. And that's walk number 6 given up by Doubront. Here's the breakout long term since the 17th of April. Scoring 5.5 runs a game and hitting .329 with men in scoring position.
I'll be so glad when we can show those numbers tomorrow. It's the 1 month. It's the 1 month.
Sports is brought to you by Tampa Bay Radiation Oncology. When cancer strikes, strike back with CyberKnife. Available at Tampa Bay Radiation Oncology. By your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. Visit your Honda dealer for great lease and finance deals on fuel-efficient Hondas. And by Checkers. Feast on. 1-1 time. Rays with a runner at first, nobody out at the bottom of the 6th. Clayton Mortensen will be the new pitcher for John Farrell. Doubront works 5 innings plus 1 hitter in the 6th. He struck out 7, walked 6. Has been charged with a run and 3 hits. And Matt Joyce will now pinch hit for Sean Rodriguez against the right-hander Mortensen. Well, maybe the Rays can come full circle here. In fact, he doesn't even have to get a hit with a guy in scoring position. He just hits one out, and the Rays could take the lead here.
I like it, Dwayne. I like where you're going.
Well, it's a plan. And here's Joyce against Mortensen. 1 ball, no strikes.
A hard breaking ball right there by Mortensen, 86. Talking about a pitcher that gives you a lot of limbs to take a look at on the way to the plate. Send your guy.
check swing hopper to third. Middlebrooks looks down to second, and he'll get the force on Loney.
You know, I think the internal clock in Middlebrooks' head was telling him, no way I'm going to be able to get the guy at second. He gave it a look, went back to first, and said, wait a minute, was he that far away? Looked back and then made the throw. Just a little bit of indecision here. Not going to be able to get him. Oh, no, maybe I will.
Yeah, he's looking for the runner. He's thinking, I thought there was a runner at first. I didn't see one there. Oh, there he is. I can still get him.
Hey, this is a guy who the Rays put in motion the other day, stealing bags.
Here's Jose Lobaton. Joyce at first, one out.
Well, you know what the thing about these infielders, on ground balls, whether they're sharply hit, chopped, you've made that play so many times with different runners that you know about how much time you have. You know when you got get rid of it quickly. You know if there's a guy on first base with a good secondary on a chopper, I got to take a look at second, but I may have to make this throw to first. And it's got to be recalibrated for every hitter. Every hitter, you got to take a look. Okay, who's on first? What's the speed there? What's the speed at the plate? And be ready for any kind of ball that comes your way. There's a lot to digest for those guys.
Yeah, and then on top of that, they're being shifted around more now than ever before.
In the middle of counts.
We've seen Mortensen moving over there to the right side on a couple shifts.
This is what I want to see more than anything else. I want to see actually, I don't want to see because it'd be bad for the Rays. When they motion Evan Longoria, when they take him after a pitch and move him over to the right side, it'd be so funny him to get a ground ball and just turn and fire it to the right fielder. Think of that second base as they move him in between counts. You forget where you're at. You just field it and fire it.
He's feisty today, Dwayne. I'm telling you.
He is.
He's got some ideas that are, you know, his ideas aren't right.
Hey, we don't want to squash creativity.
No, that's like children. You don't want to stop that. You want to keep on developing that.
Yeah. I want to know what's in this coffee.
It's going to be a fun plane ride for you. That's all I'm saying, Dwayne.
Yeah, well,
oh yeah, story time.
Oh yeah,
story time.
You know what? This flight, you will buckle up.
2-2 now. Move over to first. And Joyce is back in.
You do bring up a good point, BA, though, as far as the nuances of the game of baseball. You know, it's such a game that you have to acquire an appreciation for as a fan if you never played it. For real, you know, seriously, because even the runner at first has to be cognizant of where the outfielders are after every pitch. They might move on you, how good their arms are, because they might be a particular hit.
Oh, he got back in. It appeared that he was a dead duck over there off first.
And he may have been. Boy, I thought the tag got there, but Matt Joyce caught leaning. And that's all it takes, just a little bit, right? Oh,
yes.
That's it. Oh, he whiffed him.
He missed the tag.
And then he went back. If he just, show him there, but then don't go back to it. When he went back to the tag, the hand was already on the bag.
And the count runs full on Lobaton. We'll take another look over there at first base. Arestas Destrada would have never missed a runner coming back like
that.
Not
like that, because I would have dropped the knee on him.
I was going to say, yes.
I mean, there was plenty of time to drop the right knee on him, and he doesn't make it back.
And Arestas, when you played over there, were you a heavy-handed guy? You see some of those heavy taggers where they just whack you in the ankles, and you're like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the play, because some of them you want to be a quick tag to kind of dig the umpire.
Right.
But then some of them, you know, and if I knew a guy, he really got it good on the ankles if I knew a guy.
Yeah.
Like, oh, seriously?
There goes the runner. The pitch is ball 4. The Rays will have 2 men on with 1 out in the 6th. 7 walks issued by Boston pitching tonight.
Well, that's the thing. This is a 1-1 game. You've hit a home run. You've drawn 7 walks. Now is the time to up that number. You got to cash in here. You just cannot mentally let this team wiggle out from another situation where it's been self-inflicted wounds by these Boston pitchers. Durant, now Mortensen.
Well, Ryan Roberts is the guy who hit the home run. It was against the left-hander. Hit it off Durant. His 3rd home run of the year. All 3 have been against lefties. Roberts in here against Mortensen. And this one gets by Saltalamacchia, and both men now wind up in scoring position. Joyce over to 3rd, and Lobaton up to 2nd base.
Well, 7 walks and now a misplay in a key spot. Saltalamacchia, that was a pitch from Mortensen, had late action. He goes down to get it, and it's right off the thumb.
That ball knuckled on him, though. That was a weird changeup.
Yeah, that had
backup change, late break.
Yes, late. Well, that's why he obviously couldn't get that glove down there to be able to secure the baseball.
Key now, the Red Sox forced to bring the infield up.
We almost got him again.
Yes, it did. 2-0, and he struggled with that one.
Well, you mentioned BA on his first pitch, that slider that he throws. This guy's got a wild arm. He's got a lot of movement on his what looks to be almost like a palm ball or something.
Yeah, but he really turns it over.
And his slider is sharp and hard. Wouldn't mind one bouncing.
Roberts started to go, but he checked. It's down out of the zone. It's 2-1. Couple of walks in the inning. Pass ball. 1 out, 2-1 the count. Joyce 3rd, Lobaton 2nd. And he missed a little wide. 3 balls and a strike.
Well, he just continues to go with the off speed here to Roberts, trying to take advantage of his aggressiveness. But like Ressus, what you were saying earlier, Roberts showing patience, not biting, and now he's got the count 3-1 firmly in his favor.
And he pops it foul. It's out of play, and the count is full. He's stayed with the off speed.
Yeah, what's that, 5 in a row now?
This is a situation right here that even as a hitter, you guys are talking about not wanting to get beat with a fastball, but you almost, you've gotten 5 changeups in a row, and you have to trust your hands enough that you can fight a pitch off the right, and you almost have to think backwards here and then fight a ball out to right for a fly ball or something over the infielder's head because you get the infield in.
3-2, and it's upstairs. So he walked him.
Breaking ball, tried to make sure it was a strike, left it up in the zone, and that's exactly, Orestes, what happened the other day with Jeremy Hellickson and Freddie Guzman. The 6 straight changeups. He finally got one he could handle.
Yep.
And he was still a little bit out in front on it, but of the 6, it was the one in the worst spot, and he was able to keep it fair for the grand slam. It was the same thing, same situation right there that Ryan Roberts was being faced with.
A little calculated guess that you do as a hitter. And obviously, the more ups you have with a pitcher, you haven't seen Mortensen much, but the better for you. But you got to calculate sometimes. But again, the key to hitting well with running scoring position is the middle of the field, is not spinning. And right now, with Desmond Jennings, who was kind of a spin kind of hitter, it'd be nice to just see him hit that one of those fly balls out to right field like he did the last time up.
Well, Jennings hit a fly ball to right field off Mortensen here on Tuesday. He bats with the bases loaded, 1 out in the 6th inning tonight. And he takes the pitch away, a fastball off the plate. One ball, no strikes. That's high. Came back with a slider. It's a pitch he walked Roberts on upstairs. Jennings in a very good spot right now. Andrew Miller throwing in the bullpen, the tall lefty. And a foul ball back. He got a fastball, fouled it straight back. 2-1. Rays have had men on base in every inning except the 4th. They're loaded in the 6th with 1 out. And a foul ball back to even the count now.
Well, the changeup, yeah,
was up.
It was right out over the plate. Desmond put a good swing on it.
You know, he's not. I like what he's doing here. Desmond's keeping the shoulder in. He's not trying to pull off the ball. That's a good swing on a changeup. He's just missing going up the middle and hopefully to right here.
The 2-2 to Desmond Jennings. And he just got a little piece of that one.
Whatever. I mean, just that's all you were going to get on that pitch. That was a good breaking ball by Mortensen. And Desmond starts to commit and is able to just get out there and keep his at-bat alive.
Is that a changeup, BA, or a slider?
Slider.
Is that the slider? It's a lot of movement on it.
It's late, yes.
Yeah.
Two. And a little broken bat liner up the middle into center base hit. Joyce will score. The bases remain loaded. Drew went back trying to catch it. It was just out of his reach, and the Rays take the lead 2-1. Desmond Jennings drives in the go-ahead run.
Well, how about this? Just enough. Just enough. That ball, actually, I think it landed on the infield dirt. It did. Able to elude the grasp of Drew. Station to station baseball. Rays take the lead. Mortensen's night is finished.
Well, the Red Sox will make a move. John Farrell out there to change pitchers on the Metro PCS call to the bullpen. as you enjoy a cold one to look forward to Miller time later in tonight's game. Brought to you by Miller Lite. Or in the case of those fine gentlemen, enjoy it now. Luke Scott to face Andrew Miller. Scott with a base hit, the walk tonight, grounded out against the shift in the 5th. Rays have Lobatone at 3rd, Roberts at 2nd, and Jennings at 1st. Luke Scott is behind in the count now.
Boston definitely leads the league in lanky, skinny pitchers, don't they? You got Buchholz, Mortensen, and Miller.
Yeah, if you thought Mortensen was throwing some arms and legs at you, what about this guy?
6'7", and he's about 123 pounds.
Soaking wet.
Speaking of soaking wet, Buchholz has been pitching really well, hasn't he?
Here's the 0-2. Line drive, base hit into right field. Lobatone scores. 3-1 Rays. Luke Scott comes through.
Oh, how about that? Luke Scott staying in that at bat, tough with 2 strikes. Boy, and he was able to get out and around that baseball and pull it with some authority. Did you see his head stay on that ball just a split second longer? I mean, right where he was swinging, that ball was up in the zone, and the head stayed there even as the bat came through.
Ben Zobrist missing the first pitch.
A lot of times you'll see the head start to pull out of there, but watch his keep his head right where he's swinging. Boom.
And you know, BA, I mean, talk about breaking down your swing right there to just try to drive the ball, drive in some RBIs. He lifted the front heel, put it right back down, didn't even take a stride.
Yep.
That's why they kept the head still, shoulder in on a lefty. Great job of that's situational hitting right there. That's not just, hey, I'm going to go up there hacking. I've got a purpose because I want to put the ball and play hard out in the outfield.
Zobrist out on strikes. Breaking pitch gets him.
Well, he saw a couple of those, and that's the one thing that Miller brings is he's got a sweeping breaking ball. It covers a lot of ground, top to bottom and left to right.
Well, here's Evan. Singled and walked his last 2 plate appearances after hitting a fly ball into center in the first on a pitch he thought he should have driven. He takes ball 1. Rays have 2 up on the board in the 6th inning to take a 3-1 lead. Chopper foul. Rays had an 0 for 20 streak with runners in scoring position going before Desmond Jennings' broken bat base hit up the middle, got a run home for the first run of the 6th. Luke Scott followed with an RBI single. Now with 2 outs, Longoria 1-1 the count. That's strike 2, says Joe West. He went around.
He did.
And West call confirmed by Orestes Estrada.
I've got a good.
He was in the perfect position.
I'm in the side angle right there. In fact, I'm on that camera right now. I'm doing multiple work right now. I'm filming the game also. It's unbelievable, all things I can do. BA, but you know,
listen,
us hitters are got a lot more talent.
Oh, 2, that little tap to third, and a step on the bag by Middlebrooks with a force will end the inning. But the Rays come up with 2 runs. Base hit by Desmond Jennings broke the 1-1 tie. And Luke Scott followed that to give the Rays a 2-run lead. 3-1 Rays through 6.
So nifty footwork there by Middlebrooks to end that inning, because that would have been another Rays run, and this probably still be out there in the field.
That's why they're confident to have him play second base in the shift.
Because he knows, yes, and he would know where to throw the ball. It's great.
Matt Joyce stays on. Mike Napoli will lead off the 7th. Joyce in left field. And the first pitch to Napoli is too low. Cobb has struck out 6 and walked 1 through 6 innings. Jake McGee is up in the bullpen for the Rays. Ball 2.
Now up or down, not good right now.
Oh, those were good pitches.
Yeah.
There's a strike. Cobb is behind Napoli, 3-1. Daniel Nava on deck, and Stephen Drew. Takes the count full. Count all the way out on Napoli. And that is ball 4, skipping all the way to the backstop. So Napoli's on to open the 7th inning. Celebrate Fernando Rodney's historic 2012 season with a limited edition figurine featuring Rodney's iconic Shooting the Moon celebration. This figurine available only by purchasing the Tampa Bay Times ticket tandem for any game against the Yankees May 24th through the 26th. Visit RaysBaseball.com/tandems. Jim Hickey's going to make another trip to the mound after the opening walk to Napoli. Cobb had walked Middlebrooks back in the 5th. Leadoff pass in the 7th.
I think what Alex is thinking here too, and I don't know if he'll say it to Jim Hickey, is, but listen, if I say yes and let you take me to dinner on the road, will you stop coming out here and visiting me, bothering me? Trying to pitch a game.
Yeah, we can talk at dinner.
Yeah. Alex Cobb has got a visit per base runner tonight.
See 89 pitches at this point. Daniel Nava struck out and lined out to first.
Yeah, I just did the math, and I think that's almost impossible. I don't think you're right about that.
No,
it wasn't.
It was close.
Every
He's had a visit for every hit that he's given up. He's had a visit.
every hit.
Yeah,
and then there's 2 walks, so I was a little short.
Okay, just check.
It would be the first time.
10-day homestand, wasn't it, Dwayne? I think it was.
That's right, and he's appeared nightly here. He's taking it on the road now.
With an off day in there. With an off day, so that was 11 days at home.
So ready for the road.
You better be. 1 ball, 1 strike, the count. Fly ball to left. Joyce back toward the corner a bit. That's the first out here in the 7th. Napoli hustles back into first. And Joe Madden comes out of the dugout. He has an eye toward the bullpen where Jake McGee has been loosening. And so the Rays get 6 1/3 from Alex Cobb. It's got to be a bittersweet moment for Cobb. Metro PCS call to the bullpen. Game after 6 1/3 innings, and you know he would love to stay in this game.
Oh, yeah. I mean, him coming out of the game, you could tell the look on his face. 92 pitches, and he's one of those guys that wants to pitch deep. He's not happy with 6 1/3, although he was outstanding for the time that he was in there against this very good Boston lineup. Had the changeup working once again. A lot of swings and misses. Did a nice job of moving the ball around, limiting damage. A couple of walks, 3 hits, 1 run. Great night for Alex.
And Jake McGee takes over to face Stephen Drew. 1 on, 1 out. And the pitch is a strike. The other thing that makes it a little more difficult for Cobb is the first couple pitches to Napoli, as we saw. They were balls, called balls, but they certainly appeared to be good pitches.
I thought they were both strikes out of the hand. Joe West did not think so. His opinion's the only one that matters.
So Cobb winds up walking Napoli. And then he gets an out, and then he's out of the game.
Yeah.
So it's a
and at 92, I mean, you're right. And at 92 pitches, I mean, this is a guy that can horse it up for you.
Yep.
But at the same time, Joe has his style of managing, and he knows when he gets into the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings, he's got certain relievers that he wants on certain hitters. And if you get to that spot, that's what's going to happen. Period. End of discussion.
So McGee now 1 and 2 to Stephen Drew.
But you don't have to like it, and you actually applaud the fact that Alex doesn't like that. He wants to be out there in the thick of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
that's one of the things that makes you like this kid.
Mm-hmm.
Fouling a fastball away.
This is a big hitter right here, obviously, because you have Middlebrooks on deck, a pretty much dead red to all field power hitter. You want to take away that tying run with a big jack on up at the plate.
You're right about that. McGee faced Drew Tuesday, walked him. He's ahead of him tonight. And this ball pops away. Down to second base goes Napoli. It's a wild pitch charged to McGee.
Jake McGee trying to throw that cutter, I think, down and away. Tough pitch to handle.
Now 2-2 to Drew. The pitch is popped up. Shallow center, Escobar out there, and he makes the catch. 2 gone. And now Will Middlebrooks. Middlebrooks hit the ball a long way to center in the 3rd. He walked in the 5th. This was a matchup. McGee and Middlebrooks. Going back to Tuesday when McGee entered the game in relief of Matt Moore. Middlebrooks was the first man he faced, and they really had a battle. It went to 3-2. And wound up being a 10-pitch at bat. And he finally got Middlebrooks on a ground ball to short. It's down.
Boy, you're talking about a pitch not easy to handle. A heater from McGee right into the dirt. I mean, Lobaton not anticipating that. Tell you what, though, for that velocity, he did get the glove turned around.
.96 missing. 2-0. Two outs in the 7th. Rays scored 2 in the 6th, taking a 3-1 lead. Josh Lukey is up in the bullpen. In that game Tuesday, it was the McGee-Lukey tandem that got the Rays through the 7th. Two and one. That was the nice, easy fastball at 96.
Yeah, and it just explodes into the zone. Explodes right past the swing of Middlebrooks.
That also was on the black.
Yeah.
BA. That was a fastball. You can't. The best you can do with that is foul that off. You're not going to drive that pitch.
There's strike 2.
And Middlebrooks, realizing that, doesn't even swing at that one.
That right there reminds me of a guy that I used to face by the name of Randy Myers that was no fun. And he could throw that pitch all day long. And you knew it was coming. And you'd foul it off, and then he'd end up punching you out with a 97 on the corner, a little bit away. Nasty pitch.
Here's the 2-2. Lifted up the right side, foul, and will carry out a play.
Well, a nasty pitch from one of the nasty boys. Wasn't that the group?
Yeah, well, he was with Chicago when I was facing him, but he also, I faced him also with Cincinnati, but I remember particularly with the Cubs for a while too, where he was nasty everywhere he went.
Yeah.
Padres, Cubs, Reds.
When I went down to school, college at Wright State, and that's in Fairborn, Ohio, just about an hour north of Cincinnati. That was fall of 1990. So when I checked in, the Reds were dominant that year, and they had those three guys going. And you got to the late innings. You talk about shortening a game with that group, Dibble and Myers. I mean, come on.
2-2, and we're going to go all the way to 3-2 again, as we did here on Tuesday in the McGee-Middlebrooks matchup. Seattle leading New York, top of the 8th, 3-2. Here the Rays lead 3-1. Ground ball third. Longoria makes the throw to first. Man left on in the 7th inning for Boston. We're headed into the home half of inning 7. 7th inning stretch time. Rays 3, Boston 1.
3 against Boston. This is the end of a homestand here, an 11-day, 10-game homestand. So what's your favorite moment of the homestand? That's our AT&T Twitter poll question tonight. Hashtag TB1, Evan Longoria's walk-off home run against the Padres. Hashtag TB2, the Mother's Day catch by Sam Fold in center field. Hashtag TB3, the same day, Matt Joyce over the shoulder in the 9th inning. Hashtag TB4, the Plantains and the band Sol Caribe. Or hashtag TB5, Desmond Jennings going into the gap in left central. Tweet us your votes at @SunSportsRays. We will have the results in the Rays Live postgame show.
Wayne, I've narrowed it down.
Okay.
I've narrowed it down. Remember, I had the 3.
Yeah.
Had the Jennings catch, walk-off home, and the Joyce catch. And this is my rationale. I'm going with the Joyce catch because we're going to see him make another play like that. We're going to see Evan with another big game-winning hit. You may never see that catch from Joyce.
Escobar is out third to first.
When you watch that slow motion as he's going back, tracking that ball, his head almost tracks it, 180 degrees, 200 degrees, all the way around. He catches that going up against the wall. That was beautiful.
How many opportunities do you get to make that catch?
You don't.
Matt had said after me, he said, that's one of my favorite catches.
Yeah.
Like you make them every day.
Yeah.
You don't get a chance to make that play.
No.
Ever.
No.
I mean, if you think of all the outfielders who played this game, how many even get the opportunity to make that catch?
I know of 2 guys.
Yeah, absolutely. One was in 1954.
Right.
Here's James Loney facing Craig Breslow. Breslow got Escobar on the ground ball to third.
Watch him track this. All the way up and around. I mean, that's ridiculous. By the way, paying no attention to the wall that's coming up quick.
Yeah, oh, there's a wall there.
Right.
Did you try to make those catches when you were a kid?
Well, there was no trying.
When you were throwing?
Yeah.
You guys together, basically long toss.
Yeah. Over the shoulder. Getting good practice doing it with the football. But the way that I was brought up, it's not like now where everybody gets a trophy. It wasn't a tri-league. It was a do-league.
Yeah.
So there was no trying. That's what I tell my kids now. I'll try, Daddy. Yeah, this isn't a tri-league. This is a do-league. So go out there and get it done.
There you go. Okay, Dad. Loney lifts this one foul. That's going to carry out a play. To the count. Everyone. Three balls, 2 strikes. Full count to Loney. Ground ball right side. That's Pedroia. Then Pedroia right in the middle between first and second with the shift on. See that shift, they had Drew on the second base side first and not Middlebrooks. But there are times when Middlebrooks goes over there.
Well, and interesting here, too. Now, nobody on base, the shift employed. And Pedroia, you know what? We've seen him back in this range. He's right here, not taking that deeper angle. It's getting complicated.
We just reported, apparently. It's one strike the count.
Yeah, for Luke Scott, Dustin Pedroia was in shallow right center. Now playing just at the cut.
Respecting the speed of Matt Joyce, no doubt. Broken bat roller by the mound. That'll take care of the Rays. 3 ground balls. Drew made the play on that one. On to the 8th. 3-1 Rays. Will take over on the hill. Peralta to work the 8th. Jared Saltalamacchia, the catcher, leads it off. Then back around to the top of the order, Ellsbury and Victorino. Well, 20th appearance for Peralta. Season a quarter through. What a pace for 80 games. And loving it. Pitch is a strike to the Boston catcher. Jeremy Hellickson will be opening the series tomorrow night on the road in Baltimore against the former Ray right-hander Jason Hamill. And the breaking pitch is a strike.
Boy, how about those 2 pitches for Peralta? We talk about his mix and the willingness to throw any pitch, any count, both sides of the plate. That curveball out of the hand was off the plate away, broke it right back to the corner, and now sits 0-2.
Now Longoria moves to the right side of the infield in the shift for Saltalamacchia, 0-2.
Now it's getting out of hand. I mean, really.
Is this confusing you now?
It is. You know what this is? The story time with Dwayne on the plane, and then I'm going to sneak up front and sit down with that man right there.
To Joe and try to figure this whole thing out.
2 shifts now.
Yeah. He's to the right of the second baseman. The other time he was to the left. It just depends. It's all broken down. It's down to the art of the internet and the numbers.
Run a complicated defense. I like it. Multiple fronts.
And a high infield pop. Longoria comes in from second base, and he makes the catch about 12 feet in front of the second base bag. So the Rays' third baseman has made a couple plays from the second base spot tonight, twice on David Ortiz and now on Saltalamacchia. Kobe Ellsbury. Oh, and by the way, Longoria made a fine play on the ball hit by Ellsbury in the 6th inning, and that was from third base. Over the mound, Escobar up and out with a quick toss. Ellsbury is out number 2.
Boy, really nice play. You can see Peralta wanting to go for that ball. He was not going to be able to get it. And Escobar, it's going to take a sweet play by him, charging and getting rid of that ball quickly and cleanly and accurately to get Ellsbury. That was pretty, too, the way he set his feet going to that ball.
Yeah, that's a quick runner there. And you're right. He kind of rounded it, then set his feet so that he knew that his shoulders would then be able to open up properly. And that sinker that he was going to throw to first would sink perfectly, you know, to the glove of Loney. That's a beautiful play.
More of a fade.
Yeah, a little fade. Right. Beautiful.
Shane Victorino. And he takes a breaking ball that's just a little wide. 1-0. Victorino had scored the Boston run when he doubled with 1 out in the 4th and was singled home by Ortiz.
Are we all the way back, guys, to feeling our defense is to where it was like
I think
two years ago? Because last year it was, you know, you couldn't really figure it out. The first half was horrendous, 70-something errors.
Joe Madden couldn't figure it out last year. About every 10 days I would ask him about the defense. I have no idea. I don't know.
I don't. Remember he said we have a defensive virus or something at one point?
It's the strangest thing. Well, pop foul. Longoria's after this with room, and he makes the catch to retire the side. Bottom of the 8th coming up. 3-1 Rays.
Presented by Checkers, of course. Todd and Orestes are hosting. Dwayne and BA break down another electric performance by Alex Cobb. And I'll be in the clubhouse as the Rays get ready. Get this, guys, for a camouflage road trip. Love it.
Yes.
All right, Kelly. Hey, by the way, Kelly.
Yes.
You didn't tell us. What was your favorite moment of the homestand?
Desmond Jennings.
Oh, you like the catch.
Flawless. He didn't miss a step. He did not miss a step. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, well, you're right about that.
Can't argue with her.
Yeah.
Could disagree with her.
Yeah.
Can't argue with her.
It was No percentage in it.
None.
No, we've learned that a long time ago. Junichi Tozawa is going to lead off the bottom of the 8th. It's 3-1 Rays. Actually, he's going to pitch. And Lobitone's going to lead it off against Tozawa. 19th appearance for the Boston right-hander. Oh, a long drive. Back into right center. Victorino to the wall. He makes the catch right up against the 370 marker. Lobitone made a bid. Well, Jose Lobitone had visions of ice cream in his head when that one left the bat.
Two times. One from the right side, now this one from the left. Boy, it was high, it was deep. Just not deep enough. And a very disappointed Jose Lobitone.
That's the first out, a long out. Ryan Roberts goes up the right field side. And Victorino hustling over there back of the Rays bullpen mound made a sliding attempt.
Getting this,
I'll tell you, he should be careful. He's running into walls and all kinds of things.
Oh, that's right.
Fortunate to be playing in this series.
You're doggone right. Banged up that rib cage in the short wall in Fenway. That's the way he plays, though. That's the way he's wired. Only knows one speed.
It looked really fun until he stopped. Well, he ran a long way after that ball off the bat of Lobitone, and then before he got settled in, a great effort on the foul ball up the right side. And the Red Sox want to make sure that he's okay. And John Farrell out, and Victorino says he's okay.
Yeah, only a veteran player can stop a manager that far away from right field.
There you are. Yeah, he didn't even get far enough to make that a visit to the mound.
No, it doesn't count. Doesn't count as a visit, does it?
Don't even look at him. Don't even look at him.
Roberts back in. Ball, 1 strike. Two. Roberts opened the scoring with a home run back in the 2nd. Gave the Rays a 1-0 lead. Game was tied when Boston scored a run in the 4th, and the Rays scored 2 more in the 6th inning. Balls, 2 strikes. And there is strike 3 called on Roberts. 2 gone in the Rays' 8th. Watch Longo, watch Ben, watch Desmond, and get your own watch. Sunday, May 26th, the Rays take on the Yankees. Kids 14 and under get a Rays Snap Watch presented by the Tampa Bay Times while supplies last. Visit RaysBaseball.com. Desmond Jennings sends it into right, and there goes Victorino again, and over the shoulder, Victorino makes the catch.
TB6.
How about that?
TB6.
Boy, what an inning for Shane Victorino out there. Over the shoulder. 2 great catches in tomorrow on Rays Live, the pregame show presented by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. Todd Callis will have the news of the day, and there'll be a focus on the O's young third baseman, Manny Machado, and, of course, the A's Daily Breakdown. Rays Live presented by the Gulf Coast Honda dealers. Orestes Estrada down there. Boy, you had a great view of a lot of what we've seen tonight, Orestes.
It's been a great time here. Hopefully we close it out, and Rodney's able to close it out. Do you realize, because we heard a lot about Lester and Buchholz, that combination together, they're 14-3 in the games they've pitched. If we close it out here, I got Cobb would have won, and between Cobb and Moore, we're 14-2 in games that those guys are pitched. So we've got our own Lester Buchholz going brewing right now. So,
all right,
good combination.
Yeah, it's a great point.
It is. And what a snappy dresser.
You know, thank you.
You're welcome.
We've had the Zen master, just teach us and take us to the woodshed with
yes,
Jennings, and then you with all the cute stuff.
Well, I love it.
And then embarrassing us with the good pitch afterwards. So.
Well, it's really great to see a pitcher and a hitter be so close. 1-0 the count as Fernando Rodney faces Dustin Pedroia. Count now 1-1.
Yeah, and let's get to the business at hand here, which is Fernando Rodney, the middle of this Boston very tough lineup. 3 outs from victory.
Ortiz next, and then Napoli. 2 balls and a strike.
Jose Molina coming in there to try to get him through it. This is one of those saves where if you're able to pull it out, you have earned it.
And the pitch up a bit. 3-1. Rodney posted his 7th save here Tuesday in the 5-3 win. And he gets a strike call. Fastball around the knees. You got Gomes, Middlebrooks, and Drew on strikes to end the game Tuesday. All the way out to Pedroia. And he lost him. So the changeup and leadoff walk. Pedroia is on for the 2nd time tonight. And the hitter will be the DH, David Ortiz. Ortiz drove in the Boston run with a single in the 4th. The other 2 times up. He grounded out into the shift with Longoria over near the normal second base position, and Evan coached him out both times. Pitch is low. Cobb worked 6 1/3, gave up a run, 3 hits. And the fastball just missed. It's 2 balls and no strikes, and now Longoria is going to move to the first base side of second base. Pitch wide, as you can see there. Ball 3. Molina heads to the mound. Rodney has walked Pedroia way behind Ortiz. On deck, Napoli. And ball 4. Back-to-back walks to open the ninth.
Now, this is the one issue that Fernando Rodney has had, and why he was so good last year, his ability to keep the ball in the zone with those plus pitches. And here, just walk to Pedroia, missing low, missing wide, low again, and this one's going to miss high. That's frustrating when you're circling the strike zone.
So back-to-back walks. Now Pedro Siriaco is going to run at first. Two men on, nobody out. Mike Napoli steps in. And ball 1. Napoli 2 for 4 lifetime against Rodney. It's 11 pitches by Rodney and 9 non-strikes. That's a strike. And Napoli entered the day tied for 3rd in the American League and runs batted in. And the middle part of this order, you put men on, they are tough. Foul ball at the feet of Molina. Walked on a 3-2 pitch. Ortiz walked on 4 pitches. Siriaco running for him. Rodney has the count running in his favor. Fastball wide. That was 97.
You could come back with that changeup here. He had thrown 2 changeups after he fell behind to get ahead of him. Now you show him that fastball off the plate away. Come right back with that changeup.
And he got it. That's exactly what he did. Changeup to strike out Napoli.
Well, that's smart pitching. You know, he used that changeup to get ahead of him 2 in a row. And here it is. He's going to start him off heater in off the plate. Okay, fine. Now go to the changeup. There you go. Strike 1. Another one. Foul tip. Okay, now I need to get him off that. Count bouncing my favor. Ooh, look at a cute little fastball. And then there's your changeup. Good night.
There it is.
That's it.
That's it.
That's how you do it.
See, the pitchers work the cute stuff, and then they bust you.
It's an old story. It's Daniel Nava.
Good job, BA.
1 ball, no strikes.
It's like a bullfighter. Ooh, look at the shiny red tape.
see, then when they gloat, that's the problem that us hitters have. It's that they start gloating.
Hey, listen,
when they punch us out.
Hey, I didn't punch too many people out. Gave up a lot of home runs to you guys, so I'm taking shots now.
Foul ball, 1-1.
Double play right here and end this thing.
See, we started this top of the ninth. Everything was peaceful.
Yes.
Now we got a little scare now. A strikeout helps.
Everybody's on edge. Big spot here. Well, and you know what? Here's the good thing. Fernando Rodney's got the plus stuff that even when he puts himself into a hole like he did, he can get out of it just as easily. And that's what he needs to do here.
Upstairs, a little extra at 98.
And did you see Jose Molina right there pointing at his eyes and telling Fernando Rodney, keep your eyes on the target? Fernando overthrew that fastball, really pulled off. The ball sailed high. And Molina, that's right. Get those eyes, get them right on me.
Sold that one.
Well, that's what makes him so good, is his ability to do that. It's 2-1. Novice thinking, okay, 96, 98. Oops.
What are you thinking here, BA?
Strike 3.
That would be nice.
Yeah, wouldn't it? Got no reason to think why you couldn't locate another changeup down and away from him.
Here we go, 2-2. Fastball high.
Well, he's had a couple of those that he's really trying to hump up and just overthrowing that pitch a little bit.
How about that? From 82 to 98, which could facilitate another 82 or 84. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And a popper foul that's going to carry out a play. Came back with a changeup.
No, he has had better command of that changeup in this outing than that fastball. Fastball, you've been missing with it. Doesn't mean you can run away from it. That's what makes the changeup so effective, is that fastball. Needs to make a big pitch here.
Second 3-2 pitch in order here. Rodney steps off. Nava steps out. And that's low. The bases are loaded. He came back with another changeup. So 3 walks and a strikeout in the inning. The bases are loaded. Stephen Drew, the shortstop, is on his way to the plate. And Jim Hickey is going to trot to the mound.
You're just going to give him a breather here. He's been working hard, throwing a lot of pitches. Try to get him refocused. You realize in this inning, Fernando Rodney has thrown or has walked 20% of his total from a year ago. 15 walks last year for the season. 3 in this inning.
Well, that strike and non-strike ratio defines the moment right now. Alex Torres, who just joined the club up from Durham, is loosening in the bullpen. Stephen Drew will be the hitter. He capped their big inning in the third last night with a grand slam. The pitch is a strike. This is last night. Red Sox went on to win it 9-2 after the 8 runs in the third. Rodney, a couple change-ups to him here, and he's out in front 0-2.
Well, that's been his best pitch tonight, and he just threw 2 great ones back to back.
Strike pitch. Right back with a changeup again. 3 changeups to strike out Drew.
And they couldn't have been located any better. I mean, look at that. That little cluster right there. That's gold.
Reminds you of a great closer I got to play with for a little while, and Trevor Hoffman, who could just do that. He could throw you those 3 changeups just like that.
One after the other.
First pitch to Middlebrooks. He finds the zone with a 97-mile-per-hour fastball there.
I'll tell you what, after the meeting with pitching coach Jim Hickey, talk about dialed in.
Chopper up the right side, foul. 98. So he goes 3 changeups to Drew, and now to the right-handed bat of Middlebrooks. 2 fastballs to get to 0-2.
Well, dare I say, Middlebrooks was sitting changeup. At 98, I mean, barely got the bat on that thing.
Two-strike pitch. Comes fastball, hits 100, and it's up.
And that's fine. That's fine. You right here, big velocity up close. Give Middlebrooks a good look at it. Change the eye level. Get something back down in the zone.
The 1-2, and a line drive, base hit into left center. That's going to roll to the wall. Pedroia scored, Siriaco scores, Nava scores, a double for Middlebrooks. Boston takes a 4-3 lead.
Well, I don't know if Middlebrooks ever got off that changeup. You know, he was so late on the 98, so late that you're thinking, boy, was he looking changeup and just reacting? And then right here, he is right on that changeup, not out in front. I think he went up there looking for a changeup. Look at that, right on time. Not fooled a bit.
So the 3 walks turned into runs. Saltalamacchia takes it wide. So the Rays see a 2-run lead disappear. Now they trail by 1. Top of the 9th. 1-1. Rodney over 30 pitches in the inning. And he's behind Saltalamacchia at 3 balls and a strike. Well, again, the Rays were down to within 1 strike of closing this one out. It's been an often repeated theme that makes it difficult to deal with. Swing and a miss. Saltalamacchia missed the fastball, and the count is full. And he walks Saltalamacchia. Fastball, and now with 4 walks and a double in the inning to go with 2 strikeouts, Joe Maddon's going to come out to make a pitching change. Rodney faces 7 hitters in the inning, makes 35 pitches, and will leave with 2 men on. The Tampa Bay Rays and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Tampa Bay Rays. 4-3. Fernando Rodney battling the streak of wildness. 4 walks and 1 big hit, the double by Middlebrooks. The Red Sox have scored 3 to take a 4-3 lead. And Joe Maddon goes to the bullpen for Alex Torres to face Jacoby Ellsbury. Torres putting together very good numbers at Durham this year.
49 strikeouts and 37 2/3. Boy, that's big. 190 average against. Need to get the quick out here and try to put something together in the bottom of the 9th.
Ellsbury 0 for 4 tonight. Pitch is up a bit. Finds the zone, 1-1. Rays will have Scott, Zobrist, and Longoria due in the bottom of the 9th. Mariners beat the Yankees 3-2. One ball, 2 strikes. It's quick right there.
Yeah.
93-mile-per-hour fastball.
Hey, we talk about hitters having quick hands. Torres has a quick arm. Really ride that fastball up there with good late life on it.
Look out. That one beyond Brian Butterfield, the third base coach. The big blow of this inning, the only hit the Red Sox have put up in the inning, the double by Middlebrooks. Stage was set via the walk. Middlebrooks at second. Saltalamacchia, who walked, is at first. Ground ball right side. Bobbled by Roberts, and the quick throw to first in time to retire the side. 8 men come to the plate for Boston. Will Middlebrooks with a 2-base hit up the alley into left center. Chased home 3, and the Red Sox lead 4-3. Bottom of the 9th inning. Fox Saturday Baseball returns this week. Evan Longoria and the Rays head into Baltimore to take on the Orioles. Fox Saturday Baseball returns at 3:30 p.m. Eastern, 2:30 p.m. Central. Johnny Gomes is in the game. He's in left field. And Daniel Nava moves in to play right field, replacing Victorino. Luke Scott will lead it off here in the bottom of the 9th inning against Tozawa. And a cut to miss. Scott has never faced him. Zobrist, who is on deck, 2 for 2 against him. The Rays trail by a run now. One and one. Tozawa had a 1-2-3-8. Picked up a strikeout.
another one of those relievers trying to get you in between. 94-mile-an-hour fastball. He's got the split, the mid-80s. The fringes of the zone with that pitch for strike 2.
Scott makes the turn at first, and the Rays put the leadoff man on. So the Rays get what they need to start this inning. A base hit for Scott, his 3rd hit of the night, on for the 4th time.
Well, elevated, same spot as the previous pitch, and he goes out there and gets around it once again. That very similar base hit that he had earlier in the game.
Sam Fold is going to run for Luke Scott. Tazawa, the closer for the Red Sox. Hanrahan had Tommy John surgery today, as it turns out. They're still waiting on Andrew Bailey. He's getting close. There's Ben Zobrist, Fold at first. Pitch is down. Tazawa has 1 career save. That came last year. He's 0 for 2 in save opportunities this year. Zobrist bounces it foul. Mortensen, Miller, Breslow, Tazawa. And a line drive to short. Grabbed there by Drew. No chance with Fold getting back into first. Now 1 away, and Evan Longoria will get to the plate. Well, Evan on Saturday provided the walk-off. Fifth time he's done that, a walk-off home run. More than anybody else in Rays history. Here he is tonight. Rays down by a run, bottom of the 9th inning, and a man on. And Tazawa throws him a strike. Evan 0 for 2 lifetime against Tazawa. Gold over at first. A step back and no throw.
That's the move that screams out. I'm not really sure what pitch I want to go with right here. So I'm going to step off, clear the mind. Better be worried about this guy here at the plate.
Picks up a strike with a fastball.
2 high-quality pitches by Tazawa to jump out ahead. That 95-mile-an-hour fastball had that good boring action away from Evan. He goes for that outside corner. Not much you can do with that.
And a swing and a miss on the fastball. Tazawa strikes him out.
Well, he elevated. Yeah, he had the count in his favor. He fires this one up and away. And he gets the chase.
Two gone. Yunel Escobar is the hitter. He's 0 for 1 against Tazawa in his career. 0 for 3 tonight with a walk his first time up. Pitch too low. Tazawa worked the 1-2-3-8. So he's the pitcher of record. The Red Sox going 3 in the ninth.
Yep.
It's fouled back. 1-1. Scott opened with a base hit. Bold running for him at first. Escobar fouls the fastball, mid-90s.
And he's starting to crank up that velocity here. We've seen the breaking ball and the split to go along with it.
Here's the 1-2. And it's fouled. Another fastball. That one harder than the one before. That one up at 96.
And Escobar just trying to stay alive, fight the pitch off. Just try to continue to buy yourself some time. You hope Tazawa leaves one out over the plate. Mistake, a hanger, and you can crush it.
Again. Ground ball. That's going to go through into left for a base hit to get Bull down to second. Escobar keeps the Rays' hopes alive with a single into left.
Now he finally got a pitch. Wasn't a terrible pitch, but this ball right here, Escobar just goes out and gets it strong enough to pull it over in the hole and get it by Drew. A way to fight through that at bat, stay alive, give yourself a chance, and now you've given the team a chance.
Gives the Rays an opportunity to have James Loney up here. Loney 0 for 3 tonight with a walk. So he'll face Tazawa. They were teammates for a time with the Red Sox. He's never faced him. Fold at second, Escobar at first. Only hitting .370 right now. He started the day at .379, leading the major leagues. And he looks at the first pitch, a strike. And he's off the fastball now with a split.
Yeah, that was fringy at best. When call goes against Loney, that really starts to set up the whole at bat. But you know what? Loney's approach has been so rock solid that bounce back and still have a good at-bat.
Split again. And now he's in the hole.
Yeah, not too often have we seen James Loney go out of his zone like that. That ball really had some late action down and away.
Two strikes. And the ground ball headed to Drew. The throw to first in time, and this game is over. Rays with 2 hits, 2 men left in the 9th inning, and they fall a run short. Boston scoring 3 in the top of the 9th inning, and a tough loss to finish the homestand. 4-3 the final. And so the Rays will finish the homestand at 6-4. Will Middlebrooks with a double, chasing home 3. As we promised earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. The 1 hit the Red Sox got in the 9th, following 3 walks all the way to the wall. And it turned out to be the winning blow. Boston 4 and the Rays 3 tonight. And so the Rays, who had visions of winning the series, dropped 2 out of 3 to Boston. Back in a moment.